Let's have fun on a Friday night. It is your boy, Rick Kamla. And we don't have baseball tonight, but we got a lot of basketball tonight. We got some late night college football. I'll be off the air by the time the game comes on, 10:30 tonight. Washington is playing a Pac-12 game. But I'm really excited to be back on the air with you guys and girls. I'm excited for all the props. I have been like, my hands, you can't see it, right? They're dirty. They're filthy. I've been out gardening all day. I've been coming up with the props for y'all, man. Ricky props up in here. We're going to react to Thursday Night Football. We're going to react to Game 5 of the World Series. Obviously, ultimately won by the Houston Astros. And Philly did get a win last night with the Eagles over the Texans. They did not cover the spread. But they won, and they won rather convincingly, but 14 points, sometimes tough to cover, and that's how it went last night. We had a successful night, 2-0 on the NBA props, 2-1 on the NFL props, and we are going to look to stay hot with you guys here tonight. So let's get Ricky props up in here to talk about the NBA props. We got all kinds of NBA games tonight, and a lot of them tipping off here. So let's get cracking. Jaden Ivey, we're going back to the well again. He's at 13.5 points. We're going over this number. He's at a plus 105 to the over. It's a minus 125 to the under. Why? Jaden Ivey is averaging 14.6 points. Our number here is 13.5. He's been over this number in 5 of 8 games this year. He just got it done against Milwaukee, 19 points, and we hit the over on him there, and then we missed the over on him when he had 7 points on 3 of 11. But he's due for a bounce back. I love the bounce back factor. I don't like taking guys coming off a 30-point massive game. Wendell Carter Jr. last night coming off a 30-burger. His number was 16.5. We went under. He had 14. We hit, okay? I like getting guys coming off a bad shooting night. Cleveland has a good defense, but it's not like Milwaukee, and Cleveland will be taking on Detroit tonight. Cleveland also will not have its starting backcourt of Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell tonight, okay? Jaden Ivey has been over this number, 13.5, in 2 of his 3 home games this year. I like the over on Jaden Ivey. He gets back in our good graces tonight at 13.5. The Philadelphia game, tipping off against the Knicks here shortly. I actually got to find out real quick here about Joel Embiid and his status for tonight, if he's in or out, because, of course, it determines he is out Friday. Okay, done. I'm not even really going to overanalyze this. Whatever Tyrese Maxey's number is, play the over on it, okay? Let me go to the NBA props right now. They did not have Maxey up earlier today when I checked. Let's see if they got him up right now. I bet they do, and I bet it's 28.5. No, it's 26.5. Bang it. Bang it. Step out on it. Units on it. Let's go. 26.5 for Tyrese Maxey. Man, that measly number can't contain Tyrese Maxey. Are you kidding me? Let's see what the juice is on this. Minus 110. People are going under on 26.5. Are you kidding me? He is going for 30-plus tonight, folks. I'm telling you right now. No Harden, no Embiid. What? Come on, man. In 3 games without Joel Embiid this year, Tyrese Maxey has gone 44 points, 28 points, 32 points. He's averaging 34.6 points per game. And now you get no Harden and no Embiid. His efficiency is going to drop. We know this. The volume is going to be there. And he is all over this number, man. Vegas cannot contain this number tonight. They can't contain my guy, Tyrese Maxey, tonight. They cannot. They're going to try, but not hard enough. We're going Jalen Brunson in this same game. Jalen Brunson over 16.5 points. It's a minus 135 to the over, so a lot of action coming in. They, like me, are feeling Jalen Brunson tonight. Why are we feeling Jalen Brunson tonight? The Philly return. He's basically a Philly guy, played college ball at Villanova, a Philly college, and he's returning back to Philly tonight with the Knicks. Hell yeah. He's averaging 18.4 this year, huh? And our number is 16.5 tonight. Hello. Last year against Philadelphia, while with Dallas and Luka, he averaged 21.5 points per game against Philadelphia, shooting 59% from the field, 43% on threes. He was awesome against Philadelphia last year. Why? The hometown connection. Jalen's been over this number 16.5 in 4 out of 7 games this year. And the Knicks have lost 3 consecutive games. Okay. I like that coming into this one. You think the Knicks might be pissed off? You think they might be a little bit motivated and focused? Yep. And Jalen Brunson is going to be the head of that snake. We are going back to the well here with Tyrese Halliburton. 18.5 points. We're going over this number, and it's minus 135 to the over. Here's why. He's playing Miami tonight. Miami, really good team, all this kind of stuff, right? Not so far this year, but you get the idea. No Jimmy Butler tonight. He's got a wound. He can't go tonight. And Tyrese is averaging 21.9 points per game this year. The Vegas number is 3 points below that, almost 3.5 points below that. And no Jimmy Butler tonight? Come on, man. Miami's defense is 16th overall. Without Jimmy Butler, it's not 16th. It's worse. The home road splits for Tyrese Halliburton. He vibes out in Indianapolis, okay? Last year, he was a +1 at home. And this year, he's a +6 points per game at home. Tyrese Halliburton has been over this number, 18.5, in 6 of 8 games this year. 75% to the over on this number. And a big bounce back factor here. He had 11 points on 4 of 11 shooting in the last game against Brooklyn the other night. We're going over on Jaylen Brown tonight at 24.5. I know you're just settling in, coming on in here, man, with your boy, Rick Kamla. If you are wondering, all right, I got in here late, a couple minutes late. Give me the props, Cam. Give me the Ricky props. Give them to me. Jaden Ivey over 13.5 points, okay? Jaden Ivey over 13.5 points going against Cleveland tonight. No Garland, no Mitchell. Giddy up. Tyrese Maxey, 26.5. I'd be playing the over on this number, anything below 30, okay? 26.5, no Embiid, no Harden. Giddy up. Jalen Brunson, 16.5. Return to Philly. I love it. He's going to be inspired. He's going to rock it. Tyrese Halliburton, we just told you 18.5 against Miami without Jimmy Butler is a booyah. And you've got Jaylen Brown here playing Chicago tonight at home. 24.5 is his number. We'll go over this number. It's a minus 105 to the over. And he averaged 26 points per game, has this year averaged 26 points per game. The Celtics, again, we like bounce back factors. We like get backs, all that kind of stuff. The Celtics are 1-3 in their last 4 games after a 3-0 start to the season. They're pissed. They're motivated. They're salty that their coach, Ime Udoka, was suspended and now essentially given to the Brooklyn Nets. This is going to be a good focus spot for Boston tonight. It's in Boston against the Bulls. Hello, Celtics Bulls. It's going to be an electric vibe. It's a nationally televised game. Last year against Chicago, we have very good numbers here on Jaylen Brown. 24 points per game on 48% shooting from the field and 41% shooting from 3. Very efficient, very productive, and he's going to be again tonight. Tatum, on the other hand, because I looked at him at 26.5 and I said, nope, not for me. He averaged 19.7 points per game against Chicago last year. It's a bad matchup for him. They have good defenders, and they're going to be sicking themselves on Tatum and not Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown will get the worst of their 2 primary perimeter defenders, unless there's a lot of switching, which is always possible, but I think you get the idea there. And so a lot of the best defense goes on Tatum, and then Brown just kind of over here with a lot of good looks. 24.5. Bang it. We're going back to Ja Morant. He let us down the other night against Portland. He fell below his number. He only had oh God, so many games. He might have hit the over. I'm actually confused right now. Forget about that. Sorry, guys. Long week, too many games. But Ja Morant here, 28.5. Let's just focus on tonight and going over on his number here tonight. He is a minus 120 to the over here. A little bit of action to the over. He's playing against Charlotte tonight. This is a great matchup for Ja Morant because the Charlotte Hornets backcourt of LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier is out. Neither of them are playing. Ja Morant has been over this number, 28.5, in 4 of 7 games. Not a strong indicator, but it does lean to the over. He's been great at home this year, where this game is tonight. He scored 34 and 38 in his 2 home games this year, soaring over this number. And I believe he's going to soar over it tonight. Last year against Charlotte, he averaged 29 points per game, did Ja Morant, on 52% shooting. He killed Charlotte last year. And I have a side prediction for you. Here comes a Twitter takeover by Ja Morant tonight. It's going to be the viral highlight and a huge stat line, and StatMuse is going to be computating, what he's doing and all this. Ja Morant is going to be a thing on Twitter tonight. Late night, I have Cam Johnson. We're going back to the well, folks. Going back to the well on Cam Johnson. 15.5. Vegas hasn't gotten with it. They haven't. So we're going to keep hitting it until they do. 15.5. We're going over this number. He's a plus 100 to the over. So there's more action on the under here. How dare you? His last 3 games, because slow start. We've talked about this. Came in, it was hurt, and a slow start to preseason and the regular season, but he is Cam Johnson now. 15.5 points we're going over because last 3 he's gone 16, 19, 29. Soaring, taking off. Now, I know what you're thinking. You just said you don't like taking guys coming off of a huge game, okay? And you're taking Cam Johnson here. You're very wise. You are keeping up. By the way, Quentin Grimes in the starting lineup tonight for the New York Knicks, as I look up here, that is a developing story. He was back for 1 game Wednesday night against Atlanta, barely played, and now, boom, he is back in the starting lineup. And I figured this would be the way Tibbs went, putting more of a defensive guy with that starting 5 and then bringing Fournier off the bench. So like literally an off-season question I had about the Knicks, a very integral question about the Knicks. Boom, just paid off right there. Live on Bettor Sports Live on Bettor Sports Network. Back to Cam Johnson here. Portland is 12th in defense, okay, which is good. Chauncey Billups, defensive coach. They're actually playing defense. Guess what? The Portland Trailblazers are very shorthanded. When have you heard that before? Dame Lillard is out. Anthony Simons is out. And this is a buzzkill. He's got inflammation on the foot. What? What the hell does that mean? That doesn't sound good. So, again, we're talking about a team that's caved in. They don't have their starting backcourt right now. Cam Johnson's going to flourish tonight. It's a home game. I can already see him hitting the 3, running back up the court, hero shot, and you see the whole thing with Cam Johnson coming back down the court. Place going crazy. Timeout Blazers. Last year against Portland, he shot 48% from 3-point range. The points per game were low, but the minutes were low and the shots were low. Okay, I'm looking for efficiency. He felt good against Portland last year. He gonna feel good against Portland tonight. Now, back to that whole thing. You don't like taking guys coming off of a big game, right? I don't. But we need to hit 15.5 here, okay? I don't see Cam Johnson thudding down to 11, 12, 13. I see him hovering between 16 and 20 points. I don't think he's going to go 20-plus again tonight. He might. I mean, he's cooking. He's a fantastic young player. But that's how I mitigate that. We are going to drop off at 29, okay? Even if we cut that by a third and we're down to basically 19 points. 19 is well over 15.5. My point is Vegas isn't catching up here. This number should be at least 16.5 to me. 17.5 might be a little rich. To me, that this is one off of where it should be. So let's capitalize on it, and let's go over on 15.5. It's Rick Kamla with you all here on a Friday night. A quick look back at last night. We went 2-0 on the props last night in the NBA. We had Steph Curry over 27.5. He hit for 39 points last night. And so he soared over the number, and we thought that he would, and he made us look good there. Wendell Carter Jr., 16.5. We went under this number. He had 14 points last night, and he was stuck on 14 for like the whole fourth quarter. And I was like, don't hit it, don't hit it, don't hit it. And remember, I recorded the fourth quarter, watched it late night when I got off the air because there was too much going on, World Series and Thursday Night Football. I was like, I need to watch this fourth quarter. I'm so glad I did because I saw the Jalen Suggs takeover. Young Orlando beating the defending champs. Memorable game, man. But Wendell Carter, Paulo Banchero actually had a bad turnover late in the game, trying to dime the rim, which might have been an and one, which would put him over this number, but it didn't happen, and we won 2-0 on NBA props last night. So let's get to some reaction to Thursday Night Football last night. And the Philadelphia Eagles win again. They win again. Actually, let me just tell you real quick here. We'll just hit the pause button briefly. I want to tell you about our giveaway tonight, okay? In case you haven't heard, in case you haven't seen on Twitter, where Bettor Sports Network is in absolute takeover mode. We are giving away tonight on my show here, Bettor Sports Live, 9 o'clock Eastern time, a DJ Moore signed Carolina Panthers mini helmet, okay? It's a fantastic item. DJ Moore, He's getting busy all of a sudden the last 2 weeks with PJ Walker. We know that DJ Moore is a stud. We know that. But with Baker, was it working? No, it was not working. It was quite broke, actually. But DJ Moore is back into good graces with fantasy football and a promising young star in the NFL. And we are giving away a signed Carolina Panthers DJ Moore mini helmet, 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight. How do you win? You're asking, how do you win, Cam? How do you win? Well, what you do is you go to @Bettor Network, give us a follow, find on @Bettor Network with an O in Bettor the tweet about the DJ Moore helmet featuring ding my name, and I'm kidding, and retweet it. That's all you have to do. Like the tweet and then retweet the tweet. That's all you have to do. Okay, and then listen and look alive and be a little lucky and rub some dirt on it and take it one game at a time. And any other cliches I can throw in there? 9 o'clock Eastern time, we're giving away a DJ Moore signed Panthers mini helmet. So how far can the Eagles take their perfect start? Folks, I am not trying to hit you with a hot take right now. I am not. I believe this. I'm not one of the toupee guys out on the West Coast. By the way, do you guys know who I'm talking about when I say the toupee guys on the West Coast? I want to see what you guys think on that. Dave Poland says, I just bet 800 on Tobias Harris over 16.5 minus 120. I like it, Dave. I mean, he's finally going to eat tonight, right? Better Boss is in here. Frankie Pugs is in here. You guys rock, man. Good to see you all. So, all right, let's get back to business here. But if you want to tell me what you think about that, you can. Hit me up, join the show, and we'll converse all night about it. Folks, when I meant the toupee guys out west, okay? The guys I'm talking, I can't say their name. I don't like saying their name. I don't like giving them extra pub, but they're on huge platforms. One of them's a radio/TV guy. The other one's a TV guy. He works with one of the greatest tight ends all time. Those are the toupee guys out west that live via their hot takes, and they thrive, frankly. They're both making 7 figures to feed the hot take machine with nothing but garbage. Does it piss me off? You're damn right it pisses me off, but it is what it is. How far can the Eagles take their perfect start? Folks, we may be talking about a 16-1 team, maybe a perfect team. Wow, Cam, how can you say this? You're crazy. You're nuts. Hear me out. The schedule, have you looked at the schedule going forward for Philly? You've watched the games you saw last night. You know about the 8-0 start. Have you looked out on the horizon for the Philadelphia Eagles? I did. Check this out. You tell me, let's play this game together. Next week, they play at home against Washington. Okay, 9-0. The week after that, they play at the Colts. Okay, 10-0. Stop me if you disagree with any of these, by the way. The next week, the Eagles are back home for the Packers. The Packers are a disastrous disgrace right now, 11-0. The next week, Philadelphia is at home against the Titans. Hello, 12-0. The next week, tough game. Philadelphia at the New York Giants. I got to win for Philly. I know it's a look-ahead thing. It's 5 weeks out. The whole actually probably like 6 weeks out. That's okay, though. If they played this game right now at New York, who would you think wins that game? Philadelphia or the Giants? I'm taking the Eagles. I mean, we're not talking point spread here. We're just talking about how far do they remain perfect. Okay? I think they're going to go to New York and win that game. I do. I don't think that's a hot take. Then the next week, they're at Chicago. Who wins that game? Philadelphia at Chicago. Come on, man. I think we understand. I mean, Chicago, I would be somewhat upsetable, I guess. But I'll go ahead and take Philadelphia now as we sit here right now. And so now we're 14-0. Okay? Washington, Indianapolis, Green Bay, Tennessee, and the Giants. Is that unrealistic to tack on 5 more wins and go 5-0 over that stretch and be at 13-0? Pardon me. And then the Chicago game, 14-0? I don't think it is. This should be creating like ooh-la-las with you right now. Like, wow. Like, that's realistic. It really is. 14-0. Then the Philadelphia Eagles go to Dallas. They're going to lose that game. And all of the Miami Dolphins from 1972, the undefeated team, the only undefeated team in NFL history, wire to wire, they're going to pop champagne bottles. And God bless them. And those who have left Earth from that team and are up in heaven, well, they're going to do the same version of that on the other side. So it'll be 14-1 at that point when Philly loses at Dallas. And then you have a home game against the Saints. Hello, that should be a win. 15-1. And then you have a home game against the New York Giants to end the season in week 18. And if I like Philly winning at New York, then I like Philly winning at home against New York. We're at 16-1. Okay. Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me on this? Anthony Rivera says the toupee guy with the tight end. Hi, he said I knew it. Yeah, it was the clue, right? It was the hint. So 16-1, literally right now in my brain, in my heart, in my soul, that is a football soul. I have the Philadelphia Eagles going 16-1. That's where I'm at. How about you? Click join the show. We love interacting with you. We're an interactive network here. Hit the call button right next to the fun button. You have an audio or video option right there, and you can get in here and you can join the show. So the props we had on the game last night, Jalen Hurts let me down. 23 rushing yards, 42.5 was his number. Jalen, we were not even close to that number. My bad. Oops, my bad. And you're going to laugh at this because you know like how voluminous I am with the props, right? I could only find 3 props on that stink hole of a game last night that I really liked, that gave me the proverbial tickle. One of them was Davis Mills under 212.5. This was like a stay away. And then I was like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Hold up. No Brandon Cooks and no Nico Collins. There's no effing way he gets to 212.5. Like there's no, like we talk about, it's a math problem. He literally does not have the math to do the math. He doesn't have the guys with which to make the math come complete. He had 154 yards last night. And at times actually kind of looked like he was playing all right football, right? Especially that first drive of the game. He had 154 yards. The eye test spoke to maybe a higher number, but that doesn't matter. Well under the number of 212.5. Layup from Vegas. So is Dameon Pierce. We hit that one too. 66.5 over that number. He had 139 yards last night. So hit on those. Feeling good about those. Jalen Hurts continued, his keeping pace with the MVP leaders of Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes. 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. 21 of 27, really good completion percentage. He had a rating of 129 last night. Like, this guy's a joke. He's literally a joke right now. He's playing at such a high level. Miles Sanders kept it going. Same thing, wash, rinse, repeat. Clearly the bell cow guy, carries between 15 and 20, yards between 75 and 100, and a touchdown. The touchdown isn't as much of a given as that other stuff, but you get my point. 1793 and a touch last night for Miles Sanders. He has been one of the great values of the fantasy football season. He is a low-end RB1. I can't get much higher than that. Like a back half, running back one. He's been that good. Every week starter. Don't worry about the opponent. Just put him in there. And I know you already have been. Goddard last night, stud, 8 for 100 and a touch. A.J. Brown got busy, 4 and 59 and a touch. Devontae Smith, real light for me. Let's see, we're in week 9. I'm 7-1 over in this SiriusXM IDP Dynasty League. Man, I'm rolling. You can't tell your boy nothing about that team. And I've got Devontae Smith on that team. And Devontae, we would like more than 2 for 22. We really would. Been a weird year for Devontae Smith. It really has. A.J. Brown. I thought that Devontae Smith would be more consistent than he is, like 5 for 50 every week. A touch every maybe third week. Like it's either like 70 or 20 with him this year. It's been really weird. For Houston, we talked about Pierce, 5.1 per carry for the 139. Philip Dorsett made a really nice sideline catch last night. He had 69 yards. Chris Moore, I actually have him on that team. It's a beyond deep league. There's nothing on waivers. I mean, literally not anybody with a pulse on waivers. And I picked up Chris Moore. I didn't play him this week, but he's germinating into possibly a playable guy for me in that league. He had 4 for 43 and a touch. If you're in a regular size league, you want or need nothing to do with the aforementioned Chris Moore. he's kind of Greg Dortch-ish, with guys missing. He's a slot that's going to get more targets. But I mean, that's the line you're looking at, 4 for 40. He's playing with Davis Mills. Let's not get crazy. And the expectation is that Brandon Cooks will be back in the building here pretty soon. Let's catch our first break of the night here, folks. And let's bring on Jeff Cadillac, NFL analyst, when we come back. He was texting with me this week. He's actually, we've had him on several weeks now. He's fantastic, but he's on fire right now. He was 11-4 ATS last week. So he's killing it. And we'll run through week 9 in the NFL with him. We'll take his temperature on all these big games coming up. And we'll keep checking the comments as well. You're in a good spot. Let's keep hanging out. Let's ride on this horse. Let's have a good time. And it's Rick Kamla on Bettor Sports Live.
Bettor Sports Live with Rick Kamla. That's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on Bettor Sports Network.
Andy Reid is the best current coach in the NFL. He's better than Belichick. Belichick has lost his way. He's better than Tomlin. He's better than Harbaugh. He's better than Shanahan. He's better than McCarthy down in Dallas. He's better than all of the gangster NFL coaches right now. Sean McDermott up in Buffalo, he's better than all these guys. Andy Reid is the greatest gangster that we have at head coach in the NFL right now. And I understand that you're saying, well, Belichick is the GOAT, Cam. How can that be true? Now you're bringing up old stuff. Bill Belichick can't draft anymore, okay? Talk to me. Nick Chubb, Sony Michel. Talk to me. DK Metcalf, Debo Samuel versus N'Keal Harry. Okay, talk to me. This dude has lost his way. Remember the year when he should have bottomed out and just tanked, but he couldn't, and he went and got Cam Newton, and they were a mediocre team, right? He's lost his way. And not that he can't coach up a good defense and that kind of thing, but overall, he's lost his way. Andy Reid's an absolute badass. They draft great. He's a great coach, makes the right decisions, when to go for it, when to kick, when to punt. The guy's the man.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I hate the stupid unsportsmanlike conduct. As long as you're not disrespectful to the opponent, you should be allowed to celebrate.
How I used to say it, and to bring up, because now basketball's starting, I'm going to bring up
personal. Oh, dude, it's even worse than basketball, isn't it?
So Dikembe Mutombo, who used to get teed up in the 2000s, in the 90s, they didn't give a crap. 2000s, though, when they tightened up the rules, they used to tee him up more when he did the Dikembe finger wag. But they wouldn't tee him up if he did it to the crowd instead of looking at, like, Eton Thomas, like one time I remember, and doing it right to him, or when his back was turned, doing it right to him. If he did it to the crowd, they would never call it. And so that makes me wonder if these players, while, yeah, they want to talk a little smack, maybe they should flex towards the crowd than at the player who they're standing over.
I guess.
I know it's soft, man.
It is soft.
Because you know what?
Like we're gonna give 15 yards for that,
bro. They think that, you want to know why? They're paranoid. They think that's gonna turn into a fight.
See, I disagree with that. That's not going to start a fight.
I agree with you. They don't agree with us.
It's one thing, okay, if you spit in someone's face or say something derogatory, like about their family or something,
right,
yeah, that can incite it. But if you're just like, yeah, I made that play, what? You know what I mean? Like, again, they know the rules. You got to know you're going to get flagged. You have to have discipline. But, like, I don't know. I have no problem with celebration as long as it's not disrespectful.
What's disrespectful?
It's interpretation, and that's my problem. Watch, it's going to cost someone in a big playoff game, and that's when people are going to go crazy. There'll be a third down play. Someone makes a pass breakup, and they're in someone's face. They're going to throw a flag. It'll extend the drive. That team scores, wins the playoff game because of it. You need something drastic for it to really leave an imprint, and I hope that doesn't happen to my team.
Bettor Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
It is 4th and goal from the 2. And in for the touchdown goes Miles Sanders, his 6th of the season. 2nd and 10. Hurts backs up, looking, still looking. He is firing, and it is a touchdown, A.J. Brown. Hurts made it look easy. A.J. Brown did the escape act, was wide open, and Hurts merely lobbed him the football. Hurts gives it off. No, he hasn't. He fakes, he throws, touchdown, Dallas Goedert.
All right, we're back on Bettor Sports Live. I am Rick Kamla, and that was the Eagles Radio Network. The Eagles are 8-0. Folks, I've got them going 14 and 13-0 and then losing their first game. I've got them losing to Dallas. Pardon me, I keep getting it wrong. 14-0, then they're going to lose to Dallas. Okay. I've got the Eagles winning their next, that would be the next 6 games. I see them running it. Oh boy, the drama is going to build, right? We're going to be deep into December. We're going to be opening up presents and doing all this kind of stuff and all the holidays. And you're going to be drinking eggnog. I don't drink eggnog. It's absolutely disgusting. It's dairy. I don't do dairy. We've talked about this. Cream cheese is disgusting. Cottage cheese is disgusting. Sour cream is disgusting. Hell, even guacamole, which isn't a dairy. Is it a dairy? I don't know. I'm not into it. I'm not even into categorizing it. All of that stuff is disgusting. Ugh, baby food. It's really, really bad. I can't do it, man. I know all you can. And especially the cream cheese. People love cream cheese. People just love cream cheese. Ugh. No, I can't. No, stop it. Like the lady in the Little Caesars commercial that screams at Matt Stafford. I love that commercial. Cracks me up when he goes pizza, pizza. She goes pizza, pizza. No, and she yells at him, and then he goes pizza, pizza. I love that commercial. She yells at Matt Stafford. She goes, no. You guys know the commercial I'm talking about? I'm weird. There's just some things that tickle me on TV and some things don't. Most commercials suck, but that one's funny as hell to me. We're going to bring on Jeff Cadillac here in a minute. Whoa, we got Jeff Cadillac right now. And the thing with Jeff Cadillac, why it evoked a whoa. I mean, he is straight out of the boardroom right now, man. Like last week, he was rocking the black shirt, the yellow tie. And today he's going with the white shirt and the kick-ass tie. A real power look for you today here, Jeff.
Well, only for you, Rick. I was like, when you gave me that name, the Godfather, I don't want to be known as the Godfather. I want to be known as the go-to guy for football. That was 2 weeks ago. I said, oh, my God, he's already giving me nicknames, you know?
I love it, man. I love it. So, Jeff, let's see here, man. Let's see. You told me you were 11-4 last week ATS, and Dave Poland, our dear friend and loyalist here, among many others, says Jeff Cadillac 11-4 ATS last week with an exclamation mark. They know they're following you, bro. They're looking for the advice here.
I need as many followers as I can get. I mean, there's dead people that got more followers on Twitter than I do.
See, Godfather. See, fits right there. He knows where the bodies are buried. Oh my God! All right, Jeff. So let's get into some of these games, man. First of all, what'd you think of last? Okay, no. Pardon me. I know I'm like a down power line in the rain right here. What do you got?
Well, first of all, we can talk about last night because I heard you talking about it while I was sitting backstage. Make a couple of comments. You know, the thing is that I really analyze these games and I really look deep within the teams. And my analysis of last night was that Philadelphia did not take Houston seriously. They came out a little bit, not lame, not lame totally, but considering that Houston is not in the same division as Philadelphia, they don't figure them as being a threat. So when a team with a big, everybody knows the spread, but Philly still needs to win the game. The thing is that Houston is in the AFC. They're not even in the same league, really. They're not in the NFC. So being in the AFC, yes, Philly needs to win the game, but they might not power it on. They didn't take them as serious. Gamblers would love for them to, score 400 points, win by, 100, and everybody's happy. Philly, they figured, hey, they're looking at the schedule and they're saying, we got to win this game. We got to win that game. If it was the Giants or Washington or Dallas, they're taking this game very seriously and they're not going to miss on any scoring opportunities. It's a whole different kind of ball game. Same thing last week with Buffalo and Green Bay. I love Buffalo at home on Sunday night, and I look at the game. Yes, Buffalo's going to win the game. Everybody knows that. The money line is probably popping all over the place. But when it comes to that spread, they know Green Bay's not in this league. One of the games coming up for Buffalo that you and I are going to be discussing, I'll get to it and reasons why. But, hey, spread was 10.5. They only won by 10. Disappointed a lot of people. So, that last night, they won the game. And that missed field goal at the end of the first half was crucial if you're counting points. Because, hey, They get that field goal. You add that field goal to the game, it's 32, I believe, 32-17. That's 15 points. Spread was 14. Guys are happy. They don't make it, they win by 12. People aren't happy.
It's that simple, man. I think more people were upset by the arrogant call by Chris Collinsworth on the game. He said with a smirk. But we've got Jeff Cadillac, NFL analyst, hanging out with Rick Kamla here on Bettor Sports Network. Your boy is a live wire tonight on a Friday night. So, Jeff, let's start with Buffalo at the Jets. And where's my sheet here? Buffalo at the Jets. Last I saw, Buffalo's minus 12.5. So, are you going back to the well here? Right? They let everybody down. They couldn't cover the 10 and a hook, or are they covering 12 and a hook this week?
The mark of a good quarterback is somebody that looks to improve after a win. I like Josh Allen's comments after the game. He said some very smart things because he's a guy that, there was some doubt about him that first season, but now there's definitely no doubt. And I liked what he said. He said, we made some mistakes. I should have done some things differently. He knows he took the foot off the pedal, and he knows the rest of the team did the same. They did have the game won, but they did let Green Bay back in this game late in the game, which is a no-no. You cannot let teams in the NFL have any type of hope. Moving forward, they're playing the Jets at home. Yes, the Jets are playing better than expected. Everybody knows Robert Saleh, he's preaching to the choir there in Jersey. He's, guys are buying in. But last week against New England, Belichick takes pride. I told Dr. Roto, I said, look, if Belichick goes 2-15 and he beats the Jets both times, it's a successful season. So that you have to take into consideration. This week, Buffalo's going to knock them, sock them. Last year, Buffalo played at the Jets. They beat them like 45-17. Whether the Jets remember that or not, it doesn't matter. This is an improved Buffalo team. They also have they acquired Nyheim Hines, which is a very good pickup because he's not just one-dimensional, he's two-dimensional. Because in a running back, when you have somebody that can catch passes out of the backfield, that is something that the defense has to keep track of. I love it. You got Buffalo's fourth rushing defense. If the Jets think they're going to just use their running backs in this game and go home, it's not going to happen. Buffalo's going to be pumped up. They've made some adjustments. Again, the good coaches, even when they're winning, they make adjustments on their laurels and say, okay, we're winning, just let it go. No. You got also Buffalo's got the number one total offense. You're going to see it on full display this weekend. I love Buffalo to come into the gym. Another 45-10, shellacking. I mean, this is how I think, it's going to happen.
I'm with you on this one, Jeff. So far we're 1 for 1 here. Hanging together on this. The numbers actually, some Jets money has come in. It's been bet down from 12.5 earlier in the week down to 11.5. I like it even more at 11.5. I would take Buffalo in this one as well.
Definitely.
Last week, there was talk about should Garrett Wilson be benched and all this kind of stuff. He had like a lot of yards and some touchdowns, but he threw 3 picks, made a bunch of terrible throws, and he really regressed in that game, I thought. So let's now talk about Miami and Chicago, Jeff. So talk to me about this one, man. Miami -5. I will check the updated line right here, but it's actually 4. Some Chicago money's come in, and we were Miami -4. Now we're, -5. Now we're Miami -4. Which side of this one are you on?
Well, I'll tell you something. I love the fact that Miami went out and made some additions before the trade deadline. It's very important. You got Jeff Wilson. He joins his buddy Raheem Mostert from San Francisco. I like the 1-2 punch in the running back situation. They went out. They really got Bradley Chubb at linebacker. I mean, these guys, it's a shame that they didn't do all this, movement and everything for Robert Flores. I mean, because I really liked him. I thought he was doing some good things. But it's about time that Miami started to turn around this franchise. I mean, like I said, 1 week, it hasn't been good since Dan Marino was the quarterback. I like the additions they made. Chicago also, they picked up Chase Claypool. We'll see what happens. The jury's still out with him. We'll see what happens if he can connect with Justin Fields. I like Miami in this game. I think, Miami's going to take it up a notch. A guy like Bradley Chubb, you really don't have to, study the playbook to be a linebacker. you know that you just go in there and they sign, and they're serious about this guy. They signed him to a big extension like a day after he got into Miami. So they're all in over here. They really want to win, and they want to challenge Buffalo. And right now they have the edge because they did beat Buffalo. So Bradley Chubb, I love the addition. It helps shore up all parts of the defense. And Chicago, on the other hand, for a while they had a really good defense. They were ranked 16th in total defense, but they just traded, Raquan Smith. They got rid of Robert Quinn. Those are big guys. I mean, how is the defense? I understand NFL, next man up, all that, but who's behind there? Those are two guys that they went to two teams that are now fighting for titles and everything, and looking to move deep into the playoffs. Those are big holes right there, and I don't know if they could, compensate with no-name guys or next guys in the depth chart. I like Miami over here. I mean, last week they showed their comeback skills versus Detroit. Detroit, everybody knows, has no defense. I mean, they have a nice offense and everything, but they're always on catch-up mode. They're always losing. They're making mistakes. They make mistakes that teams can correct if the coaching is there. I like Dan Campbell in Detroit, but they're making too many mistakes, and that's not good. I like Miami against Chicago in this game. I think Miami wins definitely by a touchdown, at least.
Everybody likes Dan Campbell. He's a very likable guy. His press conferences are fantastic. They're different. They're nutty. They're not typical coach speak. They're not Bill Belichick going, rah, 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 both teams played hard, blah, 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 blah. Both teams played hard. But you got to win. You got to win. They got one win. And so it's funny you went to Dan Campbell, because that's where I want to go to next with our game selection here. NFL analyst Jeff Cadillac hanging out with your boy Rick Kamla here on Bettor Sports Network. The show is Bettor Sports Live. We're on Bettor Sports Network. Let's talk Green Bay at Detroit. We've talked about what a corpse Aaron Rodgers and his team is right now. Jeff, not only do I have the Lions covering the 3.5, and that numbers remained static here a few days ago, and it's still 3.5. Okay. I'm taking Detroit and the points as a plus 3.5 home dog. I think they win this game outright, Jeff, because they are due for a breakthrough at home, in my opinion, where they've played some pretty damn good football so far this year. And I think that breakthrough home win comes against their division rivals from Green Bay. Where are you at with this one?
Well, I hate to disagree with you on this one. I like Green Bay in this game because they found the run game. They showed that they can run on one of the best defenses in the NFL. What's going to happen this week when they run on one of the worst defenses in the NFL? I mean, Detroit has the 32nd total defense in the NFL. They're 30th against the run. Aaron Rodgers, if he has to put the ball up 20 times in this game, I'd be very surprised. I think it's a game that they can explode. In Detroit, I have no confidence in Detroit because their defense is just so bad. It's just they give up points. They're averaging like 32 points a game. It's not good. They look what they did against Dallas. They turned the ball over 4 times straight in the fourth quarter. They could have had that game, but fumble, exceptions. It's like, who's running that team? I just don't get it. I feel that this game here, Rodgers and company, they're going to have a very good game. They're going to beat Detroit. It might be a game that they turn around. I mean, they've lost like 4 in a row already, Green Bay. I think it's either 3 or 4 in a row. And this is uncommon with a Rodgers-led team. I really think that Green Bay is going to beat Detroit in Detroit. Detroit, they can't stop anybody right now. I have no confidence in saying that they could cover this game.
We shall see. That's why they play the games. I am here for the disagreements. I know you are as well. So I've got Detroit plus the 3.5. Jeff is laying the points on the Packers. Let's go to Tampa Bay here, right down the road from me, Jeff, about literally 24 miles from where I live in Largo, Florida. They will play at one of the great Bermanisms of all time, the Big Sombrero. Remember, he used to call at Tampa. But anyway, Rams at Buccaneers here. That numbers remain static. It's Bucks -3. I'm on the Bucks side of this one, Jeff. How about you?
I have to agree with you. The funny thing is that when this game was on the schedule or made into the schedule, they probably thought it was going to be a showcase game. One of these games that they maybe could even flex for Sunday night. Now it's one of those games, it's like, who cares? Honestly, both these teams, neither one of them are going to the playoffs. I mean, Brady looks like he's kind of phoning it in, sort of. He just got divorced. Everybody, that's bigger news than the team, unfortunately. The Rams, I had last week, believe me, I loved San Francisco. That was my pick of the week. I loved them. I said to Dr. Roto, I said, look, you're going to see a lot of Christian McCaffrey. And sure enough, he put on a clinic. His total yards, his prop was 101. He shattered that. It was terrible. It was like, the Rams defense has gotten really bad as well. A lot of people talk about the offensive line and they talk about the fact that they have no running game. But the defense seems to be out of place, like on big plays. And there's nobody covering the guys that they should be. That's something that's really disturbing on that team as well. And then when you look at this game, Tampa Bay and where they're going, like you and I have already agreed that Todd Bowles is not a great coach. It's a situation where he's a good defensive coordinator. I'll give him that. He does have good schemes, but he is not a full head coach. Didn't prove anything in with the Jets. He's not proving it now. Guys have to buy into the system. Every sport, people don't realize it's not just great players. You have to have a coach that the players buy into the system. And if it doesn't work together, and it shows, Tampa Bay, it's not working. Bruce Arians, hey, he had it going. Todd Bowles don't. But Tampa Bay here, the Rams and Tampa Bay, who would think it? Rams are 31st in rushing offense. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 32nd in rushing offense. I mean, who would have thought that before the season started? And here's another thing that really disturbs me about both these teams. Neither one made a trade at the trade deadline. Not one move. What does that tell you? That tells you that they are writing off the season. This season is done. They made no moves to improve their teams. And they're saying right away that, we'll figure it out after the season. But I got to tell you this. In a battle, I see this as a low-scoring game, but I like Tampa Bay laying the 3 points. The Rams are just a bigger mess. It's like, who's the bigger mess in this team, in this game?
I have what did I write down here in my notes? There's more life to Tampa Bay than the Rams, but I like your words. And I've used this thinking with other games. It's sometimes you're picking between the lesser of two evils, and the lesser of two evils right here is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both of these teams are disasters of dump fires on a road to nowhere. But the Rams feel lifeless right now. The Buccaneers feel they've got life and then they don't have life. They've got life and then they don't have life, right? And so overall it's sucky. But with the Rams, it's like checkoutville. And I think they've gone real Hollywood, Jeff Cadillac. I think they've gone Hollywood out there. I see a lot of ball players, regardless of the sport, they go out to LA. It's gorgeous out there. They're millionaires. There's beautiful stuff everywhere to look at. You got everything at your fingertips. And it becomes more about lifestyle than kicking ass on the court or the diamond or wherever. And you can also apply that and couple that with a Super Bowl hangover, which they're clearly dealing with here. So for all those reasons, we agree on the Buccaneers right there. Let's go to Sunday Night Football, Jeff. Very, very difficult game for me to handicap because we don't know about Ryan Tannehill yet, okay? So the number is 12.5. It's been 12.5. Let me see what the early line was. Where's Casey? Sunday night, 12.5. So the numbers remain static here from earlier in the week to now. But you've got Ryan Tannehill, a game-time decision. I believe did not practice today, if memory serves, on the notes that I saw. I don't know how to handicap this one. I guess with Tannehill, I would like Tennessee plus the points. Without Tannehill and Malik Willis, who I love long-term, but not right now, I think Kansas City will absolutely annihilate them. So how do you break this one down?
I couldn't agree with you more. With Tannehill, he knows the team. He knows Kansas City. They beat Kansas City last year with Tannehill. Malik Willis didn't really throw the ball that much last week against Houston. That should have been a place where he kind of earned his chops, because Houston is a terrible team. You want to be able to at least throw the ball enough, maybe try some things out. Instead, it was just a Derrick Henry show. So Malik Willis really didn't get too much. I think he threw the ball like 11 times in that whole game, and he had one interception. That's not really showing, a lot. That's almost like a preseason game. Derrick Henry, we all know he ran for over 200 yards. Tennessee was winning 17-3. Houston gets a touchdown late in the game. Okay, boring game, but, Tennessee. The question is the quarterback. My feeling is wait it out. If Tannehill's the quarterback for this game, I take the 12.5 points. I say it's going to be a closer game. If Malik Willis is starting this game, I say you're right. He's going to annihilate him because Andy Reid is already preparing. If he has Willis in there, he's going to throw stuff at the guy he's never seen before on tape. If Tannehill's in there, he's already seen everything Kansas City's thrown at him. They've been to the playoffs against them. They've been during the regular season. It's a whole different ball game. And Derrick Henry, by the way, a lot of people don't realize last year in Week 7 against Kansas City, he didn't have the greatest game in the world. He ran 29 times, 86 yards, no touchdowns. So Kansas City might have his number, even though their defense at times looks a little shaky. But then again, as I agree with you, comes down to who the quarterback is going to be. I mean, I even did it in my analysis. It's on my website. If Tannehill's playing, I like Tennessee in the points. If Malik Willis is playing, got to go Kansas City.
Jeff, tell everybody about your website, man.
It's jeffcadillac.com. And I do all the games every week. It's all for free. I do a few things, and on Twitter, I do my best bet of the week on Twitter every Friday. Follow me, folks. 6-2 so far against the spread.
I love it. And Jeff Cadillac hanging out with Rick Kamla here on Bettor Sports Live on the Bettor Sports Network. And one more game I want to ask you about here, Jeff, and it is Monday Night Football here, Baltimore and New Orleans. So what do we got? 2.5 is the number on this. Again, it's remained static from earlier in the week. Who do you have here, Baltimore or the Saints?
I like Baltimore in this game. New Orleans had a nice game last week. The Raiders don't scare me. I knew the funny thing about the Raiders is that, I remember watching some of the game against Houston, and he had that Derek Carr had the fist pump, like he drew the Houston Texans offside or something like that, got a first down. I knew the next week New Orleans was going to beat him down because, he was ripe for that. It's like big deal. He beat the Texans, so what? He goes to New Orleans. The funny thing about New Orleans is you don't know which. They're another team that sometimes they're hard to figure out because there's a lot of talent on that team, but it doesn't show up all the time. And they did show up against Vegas. I'm glad they beat them. They put them back in their place, 24-0. But Baltimore is a team. They're battling against Cincinnati basically in the AFC North. So they got to go toe to toe. Everybody's watching what the other team is doing. Those are the two teams that are coming out. Cleveland's not going anywhere. Pittsburgh is not going anywhere. So those are the two teams. So Baltimore, after the weekend, they're going to see how Cincinnati does, but they know they have to win this game. I like Baltimore laying the points. Baltimore, here's something that I found. I did a lot of digging on this game because I wanted to see, how their turnover differential is. And this is really big. New Orleans has the worst turnover differential in the NFL. They are minus 1.1 a game, which is a lot. That means they got fumbleitis, they got, interceptionitis. Whoever's throwing that ball, just seems to fall all over the place, and that's why they're losing. And Baltimore's third in the league with a plus 0.8 a game, which is very big, which means that there's ball control. And that comes from the coaching. That really comes down to coaching because when you're teaching fundamentals, the coach has to show guys, hey, you got to hold on to that ball. That's turnovers. They destroy games. You and I, we've been in this business a long time. You've seen a lot of games. Turnovers kill games. And Baltimore, I think, is going to go into New Orleans. There's no weather. They don't have to worry about anything. I see Baltimore running for about 200 yards in this game against New Orleans. I really do.
Wow. Jeff, I don't disagree with that, man. Give him a follow at Jeff Cadillac 1. Cadillac spelled like you think with 2 L's. Jeff, I just gave you a follow. My bad for not following you earlier, but I just gave you a follow out here. Hopefully a lot of other people do as well. What I know is your information is outstanding, my friend. Love hanging out with you on Friday nights. We'll do it again next week. Good luck with all your picks, man.
Hey, thank you, Rick. You too. And listen, you all have a good weekend, and especially you, Rick, man. Have a great weekend.
Appreciate that, Jeff. Right back at you, man. Jeff Cadillac, the gangster, the mafiosa, the Godfather. I'm telling you right here, he's taking me into the boardroom with this look, with this crisp white shirt and a badass Riley tie. He's got like one of the dope pattern ties, man. I haven't rocked a suit and tie in a while. I used to wear suits all the time on TV over at NBA TV. I mean, obviously it's like we just deal with life as it comes, right? All right, I'm on TV. You got to wear suits. You got to wear makeup. It's all good, right? It's cool. Totally cool. Okay, right now I'm not in that lane, and I'm at home rocking NBA radio and rocking here with you guys on Bettor Sports Network, and absolutely blessed and privileged to be on both platforms. And so I basically sit in pajama pants and a t-shirt, and I rock and roll, and I work and I give the goodies out to you guys. And so that's what's up, man. But I got to be comfortable in here, man. I got games going on. We got point spreads. We got Ricky props up in here. Your boys got to be comfy. Let's take a quick break. I want to come back and spin around the NBA a little bit and see if we're tracking towards the over on these prop bets. And right around the corner, we will get into Game 5 of the World Series. Oh, my gosh, we got a ton to unpack with this. We got to talk about last night's game. We got to bring up old stuff. We got to look ahead to tomorrow night's game. I've got a series prediction for you. I mean, you already know it's Houston, right? I've been on Houston the whole time. And World Series MVP, okay? So we'll dive into all of that. We're going to do it right around the corner here with Rick Kamla on Bettor Sports Live. See you in a minute.
At it again with your BSN timeout. And today we're talking about one of my favorite subjects. That is the futures market for the upcoming college basketball season. With me, as always, the captain of our ship at Green Screens Media, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, why don't you kick us off with some favorites that you think are still good bets to place?
Yeah, let's go national runner-up North Carolina, plus 140 to win the ACC, plus 900 to win the national championship. Core 4 players are back: Baycott, Love, Davis, and Black. Coach Hubert Davis entering year 2 with confidence. The loss of Brady Manick is tough, but Northwestern transfer Pete Nance will help soften that blow. Let's slide over to the Pac-12. Some West Coast action, plus 190 to win the Pac-12. Plus 1,600 for UCLA to win the national championship. Coach McCrone has done a fantastic job building up this powerhouse program. Got 2 stars, Tiger Campbell and Jaime Hawkes coming back, as well as 2 5-star freshmen, Amari Bailey and Adam Bona. This team is loaded and ready to make a run.
Love the Bruins this year. I'm going to go for the repeat. Kansas Jayhawks plus 215 to win the Big 12, plus 1,300 to win it all. It's a young team, right? They lost a lot of pieces from this title team last year, but managed to retain Jalen Wilson and DeJuan Harris and reloaded with a bunch of 5-star talent. Might take a minute for this team to click, but ultimately Bill Self is a proven winner. Really like them for those 1,300 natty odds. Other side of the coin, underdogs and values. Mike, where are you going to get a little bit of juice in your futures bets?
Yeah, let's go to the wide open Big Ten. Ohio State plus 1,100. Loss of EJ Liddell and Malachi Branham to the NBA was tough, but can be relying on a lot of freshmen early on, like Bryce Sensabaugh, Tanner Holden, and Sam McNeil coming through in the transfer portal. His team has question marks, but they may have answers by midseason. Let's slide on over to the ACC as well, plus 2,000 for Notre Dame. They finished tied for second in the ACC last year. They returned a veteran squad, includes lethal 3-point shooters Cormac Ryan, Dane Goodwin, Nate Lejeski. Incoming 5-star guard J.J. Starling could be the X factor.
Plus 2,000 to win the conference. They came in second in last year. I love that call. For me, I'll go the Tennessee Volunteers plus 3,000 to win the national title. This is a team that won the SEC tournament last year. Rick Barnes, we know, can recruit, so he has an absolutely loaded team top to bottom. Guys like Triple J and Vescovi are legit difference makers in this league, so love them at that plus 3,000 price. Last category, player of the year. Mike, who do you like to bring home the Wooden Award?
Let's go with the long shot, Keontae George from Baylor's plus 6,000. Freshman No Strangers winning the National Player of the Year. He lit it up in the Global Jam this past summer. He's a 3-level scorer plus defender, one of the top NBA prospects.
I'll go chalk here. Armando Baycott plus 900. We talk about the Tar Heels as a favorite to win it all. Baycott has a lot to do with it. Last year, 16 and 13, almost 2 blocks per game, and can legitimately take a step forward on this loaded Tar Heels team. That will do it for your BSN timeout. Make sure you stay locked to the Bettor Sports Network and check out Green Screens Media on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube so you don't miss a minute of our college basketball coverage.
Here's the 2-2. Swing and a drive down the left field line. Schwarber back. He's on the warning track, and that is out of here. Jeremy Pena over and out. The Astros lead 2-1. 1-2. Runner goes. Pitch is hit hard. Just fair. Snared by Mancini, and he steps on the bag. Inning over. 1-1. That's hit in the air pretty deep to right center. It sends back McCormick onto the warning track, leaps at the wall, and he makes the catch. Oh, what a catch by McCormick. Crashing into the 13-foot high wall and deep right center field. The 3-2 to Castellanos. Ground ball left side to his right. Pena. Shortstop has it, straightens up, throws the first in time, and that is the ball game. The Houston Astros defeat the Philadelphia Phillies 3-2, and they're up 3-2 in the World Series.
That was the call on Astros radio last night. The Stroskis get the win last night. I thought Philly would win last night. It was a rare L for your boy in the money line game on Major League Baseball. We've been hovering around about a 2/3 clip on those, so a rare L for your boy. We'll get into my prediction for tomorrow. I like Houston. We'll go into detail. I'm just kidding. Hey, I like Houston. All right, on to the next topic. Come on, who does that in this business? A grand total of no one. I want to spin around the NBA real quick, and then go to a heavy unpacking here of the World Series. So we have tonight Jaden Ivey's over at 13.5. Cavaliers and Pistons right now, and an odd score as no Garland, no Mitchell for Cleveland tonight yet. They are beating the Pistons at home by 14. Jared Allen has 15. Where's my guy Mobley? What's he doing? Mobley's been kind of underwhelming this year, honestly. Cade Cunningham, 16 points. Jaden Ivey at 5. We have 3:58 to go in the second, so we're tracking a little bit under the number right there, but time for him to giddy up and go in the third quarter. Maybe in this last 3 minutes of the first half, a real good zone. It's kind of like 2-minute offense. I don't know, teams just kind of turn it up in those last 3 minutes. Maybe we get closer to at least being break even on the pace there. Let's go to Philadelphia. Where's the Philly game? Where is that darn Philly game? There it is. They're playing the New York Knickerbockers, and the Knicks lead at Philadelphia right now. 2.5 to go in the first half. Let's see. We had the over on Jalen Brunson. He's at 9 right now. The number is 16.5. 2:30 to go left in the first quarter. And we're looking good on Brunson. He is definitely tracking towards an over on the 16.5. If you want to get in on some live betting, go ahead, knock yourself out. Tyrese Maxey, they cannot hold this guy down. He's at 18 points and counting. So 18 times 2 is 36. All we got to do is get to 26.5. Come on, man. All we got to do is get to 26.5. My young fella's at 18 points right now. He will be at 20 plus before the end of the half. He's probably going to have 40 points tonight, okay? So we're looking good there. I'm going to put a plus by Ivy, a minus by Ivy, a plus by Maxey, a plus by Brunson, okay? And again, we were 2-0 last night. We were absolutely sizzling on the year for these NBA props. Ricky Props up in here. Let's check out Indiana right now. They lead Miami 52-43. Not a surprise. Miami's playing without Jimmy Butler. And I anticipated that Indiana would get kind of busy tonight. Tyrese Halliburton is probably going to have a triple-double. He's got 6 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. 3.5 to go in the second quarter. But the points are low. The shots are low. It's a Buddy Hield game so far. He's got 19 here in this first half. Mathurin has 10 off the bench. We need more goodies from Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese, you've taken 4 shots, bro. You've taken 4 shots. Take more shots. You're the guy. You're the hub of the offense. Take more shots. Stop timing. Shoot more. That's what we need. Thank you. And sign your congressman over here, Rick Kamla. Let's check on. And so that's interesting right there. Miami just not able to gain traction. Long way to go. But right now, Indiana looking good. Early on here with Chicago and Boston, nationally televised game. And Chicago leads 27-19. Boston's not in a great way right now. Jaylen Brown with 2 points. In 9 minutes. Yikes. Not a good start. It's still first quarter. Okay, we got a long way to go, but we got to get to 24.5. He's going to have to giddy up and go. And let's see, has Memphis tipped off yet? They have not. They're about to tip off. And I got John Morant over 28.5. I got Cam Johnson over 15.5. So little update there on the prop bets for the night. Very, very early. Let me take a look at some of these comments right here. Dave Poland says, today is Maxie's birthday. Great call. I like that add-on. That was not a part of my computation on this one. It was just all the goodies, but I do like that angle right there. Fantasy Nab. I haven't seen you in here, Fantasy Nab. What's up, dude? Welcome, at least to my show. Hopefully you've been patronizing the other shows here. If you want to get involved, hit join the show. You like what you're hearing? Hey, I want to make comments. I want to do this. I want to yell at Rick Kamla here with my fingies. You can. Fantasy Nav says college basketball season. That was a great vignette, by the way, or I'm sorry, whatever we're calling it. But the guy's talking about college basketball. It is not my forte. It is not my specialty. So when I hear guys that really know what's going on with college basketball or a sport that I care about, but I really don't have, I don't have the time. I just don't. I'm an NBA first guy, college basketball second guy. That doesn't leave a lot of room for watching college basketball or studying college basketball. You can't do everything, right? You got to pick and choose. And so when I hear guys, really smart guys talking about college basketball, I get geeked and I totally listen to find little nuggets. Who are those next guys coming into the NBA? That's how I watch. You guys know this, both college football and college basketball. I'm a scout. These young homies are going to be on our teams, man. And I want to know, who to go get and who not to get. Frankie Pug says, you called it yesterday with Kyrie apology, LOL. Frankie Pugs, good to have you back, brother. The whole world did. I mean, we needed an apology, right? Like, how hard is it? He should have gone to the press, with the media, one of those two press conferences with the apology. Okay, we can nitpick and all that. Let's just focus on the fact that he apologized and he made it very clear that he's not an anti-Semite. Okay, those are the two things that we needed from you. Now, that's for me. I believe there's a lot of people in the Jewish community that need a lot more than that to feel good about this. I know that to be true. I know that the Brooklyn Nets and their boss, Sean Marks, as he explained today at their press conference, needs a whole lot more from Kyrie Irving. They're going to set him up to meet with Jewish leaders. And depending on how those meetings go and all that kind of stuff, they will reinstate him or they won't. Sean Marks talked about counseling for Kyrie Irving. Will Kyrie Irving accept counseling? Does he want to go down that road? I don't know. And so he's out a minimum of 5 games here, folks. We talked about this towards the end of the show last night. And then overnight, Kyrie did go to Instagram with a heartfelt apology and clarified that he is not an anti-Semite. So that was all positive stuff, but he's got a long way to go before he kind of gets this thing back on track. So let me see here. Who else is out here? We got Bettor Boss. Yo, Bettor Boss, what's up? What's up? Anthony Rivera and Tyler Soto behind the glass. And it's good to have Fantasy Nav along for the ride right here. Let's get into some baseball breakdown, folks. And you got to give a tip of the cap to Justin Verlander, don't you? Don't you? The worst World Series pitcher in the history of baseball going into last night. You're like, wow, Cam, that's quite a statement. Do you want me to go into the stats? I read them last night. You want me to go back into the stats? You're just going to trust me here. With a 6 ERA and an 0-6 record in the World Series heading into last night. Okay. Literally, ESPN Stats and Information said it's the worst ERA of starters with so many innings in the World Series. 0-6 record, the worst among starters with so-and-so innings in the World Series. He's the worst starting pitcher in the history of the World Series up until last night. And he obviously gave up the dinger to Kyle Schwarber, the first Philly batter of the game. And then Verlander settled in very, very nicely for Houston. The base runners were a little high, 8 base runners, 4 walks, 4 hits in 5 innings, a little high, but 1 earned run allowed. And he did have 6 Ks. And so trust me, Houston will take it. That is a gem from Justin Verlander last night compared to, again, the historic suctitude that was Justin Verlander in the World Series up until last night's game. Tip of the cap, he didn't flush all of these other performances. I'm not going to start looking, oh my God, this guy's so clutch, but dang it, he showed up for his team at Philadelphia against that rock star buzzsaw lineup. And he just managed it, got out of a couple of jams, and he is definitely worthy of our DAP right now. Neris came out. He got a hold. Abreu got a hold. Then Montero, who did give up a run in a third, they credited him with a hold. And then Presley came in 1 2/3 innings, only took 26 pitches to get 5 guys out, and was able to finish the game, obviously with the help of the McCormick catch, which we heard the highlight of. One of the most famous recent catches in World Series history. I mean, for real. It's game 5, game completely on the line. Real Muto crushes it to right center field. Oh my God, here we go. Game on. Whoa, Philly, here they come. Nope. Boosh. I got it at the wall. I'm going to pull it back. I'm going to take the hit. I'm going to go under some chiro and some massages and some back therapy, and I'll be fine. Rub some dirt on it. I'm good. Chas McCormick, the hero last night. That catch was amazing, man. It really was. And so they get it done. Why did they get it done? Starting pitching. Why did they get it done? Their bullpen. What did we say the whole playoffs long? Their starting pitching, their bullpen. Many other people were too. I'm just saying, like, all of the reasons that those of us who had the Astros winning it all, picked them to win it all, have played out over the last 2 nights. At Philly, buzzsaw, offense, didn't matter. We have better pitching than you, and we're going to flex on you, and we're going to beat you in your home. And now we're going to go back home to Houston, and we're going to win our 2nd World Series. And we're going to have the party. We're going to have the parade. We're going to have the champagne and the cigars and the ski goggles, and you're not. That's what happened last night. Actually, it happened 2 nights ago in Game 4. I told you the winner of Game 4 is going to win the World Series. Last night, I picked Philly to win last night. I wasn't even worried about last night. But now Houston is, I mean, it's over, in my opinion. It's over. The series is over. Philadelphia is not winning the next 2 games in Houston. It's not happening. So this series is over. It may go 7, could go 7, might go 7. I don't think it's going 7, but it might. Philly's not winning the next 2 games right here. So, and Jeremy Pena, we'll get to him in a minute. He is now by far the front runner for World Series MVP after his 3-hit, 2 RBI, 1 run, 1 home run performance last night. He is now the front runner for World Series MVP, and it's not close. I'll get to that around the corner here. So, all right, we talked about last night. Let me advance here to my notes. All right, Game 6 tomorrow night. It is Framber Valdez for Houston against Zach Wheeler for Philadelphia. And just seeing the name Zach Wheeler evokes like tremors in me. Because earlier in the week, remember the NBC.com article from Jim Salisbury talking about Wheeler and arm fatigue. Rob Thompson, their manager, earlier this week talking about arm fatigue. But he'll be fine. He's got a fatigued arm, and he looked like crap in the previous, but he'll be fine. Okay, you believe that, or you sell that. I don't have to buy what you are selling, and I'm not. So I like Houston tomorrow night. I do. Valdez is -150. To me, that's good value right there. I like Houston better than -150 tomorrow. I'll put it that way. I might even -190 like Houston tomorrow. I really like Houston at -150, 1.5 to 1. I really like that. Wheeler is at a +130 tomorrow, and I am fading the hell out of Zach Wheeler. I'll get to more on him in a moment. Valdez is, and by the way, he's very much alive for World Series MVP. Last night we talked with Johnny VTV of NBC Sports Bet, and he did a great job unpacking that about Valdez. And now that Houston won Game 5 and is in position to close it out in 6, it really swings from, maybe Javier in a Game 7 scenario, having the double down with the 2 great starts. Valdez is now going to be that guy for Houston that has the ability to double down with 2 great starts and maybe win World Series MVP. So Valdez in the World Series so far is 1-0 with a 1.42 ERA, 9 Ks in 6 1/3 innings. And he was extraordinary in that first start. And so now going into Game 6, some numbers on this. Valdez, his career postseason numbers are 6-2 and a 3.59 ERA. I'm feeling good about that. This is a killer in the playoffs. He wins, he's efficient, and I like it. The Philly bats have cooled the last 2 games, and they can get revved up. It's Philly's offense, arguably the best in the league. But now we're back in Houston, and this is Framber Valdez on the mound. And that's not good news for Philadelphia. Now, to Zach Wheeler, we talked about the right arm fatigue concerns. Velo was down in his first start in the World Series. He was giving up hits, giving up runs, giving up walks, the whole thing. He did not look like ace Zach Wheeler. I do not have a lot of confidence in Zach Wheeler tomorrow. I'm not sure how long he will last in this baseball game. He may get blitzed here, 3 earned runs early, and they got to go get him. And then we're right back to the Philadelphia bullpen, which is good, but not like as early as they had to come out last night. Then it starts to really create a drag on your team. Starters have to go out there in the later innings because you've already burned your high leverage relief pitchers in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th inning, that kind of thing. Wheeler's first World Series start, 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, 3 walks, 3 Ks, 9 base runners in 5 innings, almost a 2 whip. That's god awful. The Astros will win Game 6 tomorrow. Javier will not be needed. Javier, I guess, may pitch tomorrow. He'll be on 2 days of rest. Maybe gives him an inning, gets a guy out. I don't know. Probably not, though. Because you got to kind of keep him in reserve for Game 7, right? You got to keep somebody in reserve just in case. But the Astros are going to get the ring tomorrow night. It's happening tomorrow night. Big Papi and A-Rod and Burkhardt and all these guys and Frank Thomas, they're going to be interviewing the manager, the players, the whole thing. It's happening tomorrow night. Series is over tomorrow night. Sunday, we'll be able to focus on Sunday Night Football and the latest Laker game and all the stuff that we do on Sunday nights. I love the late night Sunday Night Laker game, by the way. Love it. I wanted to bring this up just quickly because, first of all, I'm not calling anybody out. I think Joe Davis is fantastic. Like, fan-frickin-tastic. John Smoltz, I think his information is amazing. I think his delivery is really bland. I don't know what you do. Give him a Red Bull, like some coffee. I don't know what we can do here. But John Smoltz says, oh, my God, like, bro, where's the energy? It's the World Series. You're on worldwide television. Let's go. Can you bring it a little bit more? Feign interest if you have to. But his information is fantastic. And Joe Davis is, I think he should be Fox's number 1 on football, too. Baseball and football. I think he should have just ascended into the Joe Buck role. That's just me. But anyway, Joe Davis at the end of last night's game was kind of talking about dynasty, and I only heard some of it, not all of it. And I'm not saying he's saying that the Astros will have a dynasty if they win this World Series, but just like to clear this up, like they shouldn't have even gone there on the broadcast last night. They've won 1 championship. They've won 1. Okay, and I don't want to redo the rules on a dynasty. You know, everybody wants to redo everything right here. You can say this word, you can't say that word. You can say this word this way, but not this way. You can't say jokes anymore. Like all this stuff that we have to like change for, right? We have to get with load management in the NBA. Guys used to play 82. Now they play 55 and we're supposed to be okay with it, right? I don't want to unpack this one. Well, we're in 2022. You have to rethink you have to reimagine your definition of a dynasty. No, the frick I don't. If you want to, you just sound like a moron. Anything less than 2 championships in a smallish window is not a dynasty. You got to get 3. My Tampa Bay Lightning, my hockey team, plays right down the road from me here in Tampa. They gave me 2, bang, bang. Bubblicious came back the next year and got another one. And then last year, they ran into a buzzsaw against the Colorado Avalanche, who were the best team in hockey last year. It happens. That's not a dynasty. I don't care. Like, remember Cleveland? How many times they went to the finals in a row? Playing, against Golden State, right? They were in the finals like 5 straight years. So we're going to give Cleveland a dynasty for making it to the finals and not winning? Are we going to give the Buffalo Bills a dynasty for going to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row and losing all 4? Are we going to give the Minnesota Vikings of the 70s a dynasty? They made it to the Super Bowl like 4 times in 6 years or 4 times in 7 years and then lost every one of them. Choky-ass Vikings. Even back with Fran Tarkenton, they were the choky-ass Vikings. Is that a dynasty? No, it's not a freaking dynasty. You got to get 3, okay? So stop it with that. Well, really, if you really look at it, stop it. I want to say something even harsher than that. It's a completely annoying narrative to me. People trying to unpack the definition of a dynasty. It's 3 out of 5, 3 out of 7, 3 out of 4, hell, 3 out of 9. I'll give you a dynasty for that. You know, the Showtime Lakers, 5 out of 9. The Russell Celtics, may he rest in peace, 11 out of 13. The San Antonio Spurs with Duncan and Kawhi and all those guys, 5 out of 15. Kobe had a 5-ring dynasty, right? Stretched from 2000 all the way to 2010. Won 3 with Shaq, won 2 with Powell. These are dynasties. The Golden State Warriors right now have a dynasty. They've won 4 out of 8. It's a dynasty. They had a dynasty with their 3rd championship. Stop it. You only have to have 2 for a dynasty if you make the finals, the final round series all these other times. Shut up. Shut up. You're ruining the hang in the barbershop with that. Anyway, Rick Camlin, Better Sports Live. Hi, how you doing? And so let's get to the World Series prediction. And you already know, I got Astros. I've had Astros the whole time. I hung in there with the Astros when it wasn't looking good after Game 3. My patience, my stubbornness, and my analysis on the Astros and being a baseball guy and watching this team in the whole league all year. Come on, best team in baseball. They're going to win this thing. And the Phillies were a really nice story. Great offense, but their pitching at the back end of the rotation was going to let them down. And they are not as good in their bullpen as the Astros. They do have a good bullpen, but it's not as good as Houston's. And we saw that the other night when Alvarado came in and immediately hit Alvarez, and then he imploded, and it all went sideways, right? The Houston Astros bullpen is literally not blinking. I know Montero did a little bit last night, but I think you get my point. Overall, the Phillies bullpen is blinking more than the Astros bullpen is. So entering last night, the Astros were a minus 190 to win the World Series. Minus 190, still pretty steep. Philly was a plus 160. Now, with Houston winning in Game 5, we are to play Houston to win the World Series. Okay, you're at a minus 587. Philly is a plus 450. So this is a stay away. Do nothing with this. Your window of opportunity has been a month long. We've been preaching, take Houston at minus 150, minus 170, minus 190, like whatever it's been. But now it's gone. Nobody's playing minus 587 unless you're a fat cat with tons and tons of money. Like, again, if I were a millionaire, I would put $100,000 on that. I would put a gigantic amount of money on Houston to win the World Series in a minus 587. And I don't know what that would compute to. $100,000 on Houston at minus 587. I got to win one of the next 2, and I get a nice return on my investment. It's not 1-1 or even 2-1 or 3, but it's still really good, right? And it's, I mean, like, again, you're rich. So if you lose $100,000, you're a millionaire. Like, you've got many, many millions of dollars. Like, that's how I'd be rocking on this. I really would, because Houston is winning this World Series, folks. I think it's already over. Let's get to World Series MVP. Jeremy Pena right now is in the lead for World Series odds. He is at a plus 105. He was off the radar going into last night's game. This is a stay away for me because, yes, he had a huge Game 5, the most important game of the series. But Jeremy Pena has been rather quiet the rest of the series. He had one splashy game. So to me, a Valdez could get it over him very easily. Valdez to me is the bet here. Valdez to me is the bet here at a plus 700. I don't believe that there is such a separation between Pena and Valdez. Now, depends on what the voters think, right? All I can do is tell you how I view this, okay? Valdez to me is right there with Pena for World Series MVP. And Valdez has a better at-bat or chance in the next game than Pena because he's starting the game. And if they win the World Series that night and he goes 6 strong, 1 run allowed, 8 Ks, coupled with his performance earlier in the season, ding, he's 2-0, clean whip, clean numbers, the whole thing. He's your World Series MVP. Now, if Pena has another bombastic day at the plate, different story. But to me, Valdez has had one big game and Pena's had one big game. So the odds should not be plus 105 for Pena and plus 700 for Valdez. I think it should be a lot closer than that. So the values with Valdez at a plus 700 here. I'm not playing Pena at a plus 105. I'm not. There's not enough bang for my buck. I'm not sure he's going to win World Series MVP here. I still like Kyle Schwarber, folks. I still like him for, just blowing the dice and throw him down the table. I like it. I do. I don't think Philly's coming back in this series, but I'll tell you what, if Philly comes back in this series, guess what? He's going to be a big reason why. And if Philly comes back in this series, then guess what? Kyle Schwarber is very probable, likely, whatever to win World Series MVP. Kyle Tucker at plus 1,700. Solid bet, man. Solid bet. Pena, okay, is at 381 in the series, which is amazing. 1 home run, 3 RBI. Tucker is at 2 home runs, 5 RBI. Bregman is at 1 home run, 4 RBI. Now, both of them have a 222 batting average, which is way off at 381. I get it. But Tucker has doubled up Pena in home runs. He's got 2 more RBI. And what if Tucker has a big game tomorrow night? What if Valdez is all right? And what if Tucker has a big game? Boom. Tucker's your World Series MVP, right? Let's say Pena goes 0 for 4 tomorrow and Tucker has a 3-hit, 1 home run game. Ding! Your World Series MVP swings to Kyle Tucker, okay? And he had the biggest game in the closeout game. That recency bias thing matters there. So I am on for World Series MVP right now. A dice roll on Schwarber, a dice roll on Tucker at plus 1,600 and plus 1,700 respectively. And I'm on Framber Valdez at a plus 700 to win World Series MVP. So let's take a break and come back with the great Tom Casale. We will talk college football. We will talk NFL football with him, and we'll have a good time on a Friday night with Rick Kamla on Bettor Sports Live.
With Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
The only person, I've said this to you before, who I believe back then, of all those power hitters who truly was clean, Ken Griffey Jr.
I mean, I think so when he got
Body
hurt.
didn't change.
We'll never know that
Not
for
hurt.
sure either.
Nah, dude,
We've seen guys who were not big take substances
that's true. I
to
just,
get busted. So it's not about that always.
I hear you. It's just, don't you think with the way his career kind of went, you would think that he didn't take anything?
I don't think he did, but we'll never know 100%.
I'm going to keep telling myself that he didn't. The 1 year player, I mean, he's my favorite baseball player of all time. In the 1990s, Ron, as a kid, as a 5-year-old kid who plays video games and collected cards, there was no one cooler than Ken Griffey Jr. I still wear my hat backwards because Ken Griffey Jr. did it and he looked really cool doing that, wearing a backwards baseball cap. Like, he made everything the guy did looked cool. Even the home run in the movie Little Big League, it's acting, it's all, I guess, fake, but even he made that look cool. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., you're a little bit older than me, but in the 90s, was there besides Michael Jordan, was there a more loved athlete than Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, no, I love Griffey. He's one of my favorite players ever, from defensively to hitting his swing. And yeah, I would have loved to see what he could have done if he had stayed healthy, the final numbers he finished with. So no, I was a huge fan of Ken Griffey. And it's a shame, though, that all those injuries towards the end of his career just really limited the production he put up, but he still put up elite numbers. He was so fun to watch. So I'm a huge Ken Griffey guy.
And here's the other thing, too. So 1994, the season got shortened because of the strike.
And he finished with 40 homers in 111 games that year, man. And then he had 56 2 years in a row, 97 and 98, and then 48. He had a stretch 4 years in a row, 49, 56, 56, 48, 40. I mean, unbelievable. And then, yeah, once he hit like 31, he started to miss games, 111, 70, 53, 83. So think about that, all those years that he lost, and he still hit 630 home runs, man.
Yeah.
So if he was clean, he would have been the all-time home run champion. Again, we're all guessing here, but you would think, all right, well, once he got into age 31, 32, that's when the body started breaking out, which is typical, right, for someone who's not using anything, whereas we saw Barry Bonds just get better with age, and we did not see that with Griffey. So look at 2001, where he's 30 when he played on, look at the home runs decline, 8, 13, 20, 35, 27, 30, 18, 15 to his age 38 season. Even age 39 in 170 games, he had 19 home runs. So he probably would have definitely been the all-time home run leader had he been able to stay healthy.
Bettor Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
All right. My homies are making it real crunchy tonight, and I love it. Tyler Soto, Anthony Rivera behind the glass. I like it. It's very hard. It's very heavy, and I'm a metal guy. I'm a hard rock guy. I'm a jam band guy. Let's see if Tom Casale is as well. as we bring in the great one. He's with Action Network. He's with the New York Post. He's with Bettor Network here. He does a lot of great college football and basketball stuff, and obviously covers the beautiful National Football League. He's got a Pop Warner football team that is taking the nation by storm. Tom Casale, what's up, brother?
Hey, Rick, how's it going tonight?
Couldn't be better, man. We got a bunch of NBA games, and just loving life here. Looking ahead to the World Series Game 6 tomorrow. So let's have a laugh before we dive in here. Tom, tell the people what your and the team that your son is on, what your record is, how old your son is, so they get an idea what level of football we're talking about here, and then tell them what the score for you guys and the opponents is.
Yeah, it's sixth grade. Son's 11. It's sixth grade. So we have one game left. We've outscored opponents 294-6 up to this point. But so Rick, so we had to split our team in two actually, because we had so many kids. So the other team went unbeaten. So we're not playing each other. We got a bigger school to come down an hour away to play us tomorrow for the title game. Now we're laying 3.5 at home, but I'm going to give you a little late breaking information here. My son, who's by far our best offensive lineman, has been sick all week, and he's lost 7 pounds. Now, he's going to pull a Willis Reed. He's going to show up for the game, but I'm hearing sharp money's coming in on the dog tomorrow.
We can't have that, man. We can't, like, your son's a badass, right? Like, he's one of the alpha kids. I just feel that. He's the center. He's the pulling guard. He's the one that leads the way for all our talent at the skill positions to get the So I love it.
Yeah.
So Tom, betting minds want to know here. Okay, is your son still down in the muck of the illness, or is he kind of starting to come out of the illness a little bit?
He's coming out. He was better yesterday. He's better today. He's not 100%.
Good.
We need him tomorrow because we're facing some big boys. We've demolished all the competition around where we live, so we had to call up a bigger to come give us some competition for the Super Bowl.
Tom, I've actually got, this is legit advice. Okay, I'm not joking with this, and I'm not trying to spend your money. Okay, but once upon a time, I forget the circumstance, but I was ill and really dehydrated. I think I had a food poisoning or something like that. And I had a really busy schedule. I had to do these jobs and all this kind of stuff. So I was like, I can't call out. Like I gotta do these jobs. So my wife called this traveling IV company. They literally come to your house, like a nurse comes to your house with an IV of hydration fluids and all the good stuff that you need when you're sick, right? Like you'd go to the hospital and get the same exact stuff. I don't know. It was maybe $250, something like that. And so, Tom, I'm not trying to spend your money, but there's literally an avenue to call somebody, have them come over, attach your son to an IV, load him up with fluids, and get him that much better for the football game tomorrow. Just an idea. I'm just trying to help.
Well, Rick, here's the thing. I'll tell you, if he's struggling, he might be getting that on the sideline then at halftime. So I'll send you a video and I'll here you go. Here's your rolling IV right here on the sideline at halftime because none of us want to lose that game.
God bless your son, man. I'm so sorry he's sick this week. Daddy didn't get sick, did he? Have you stayed healthy?
Yeah, but okay.
So I'm pretty good, Tom. At my wife is sick, my baby's sick. When my boys are up with their mom now in Minnesota, they'd be sick, and I quarantine myself. I'm a real germaphobe and a real nerd with that, and I'm pretty good at I'm actually really good at not getting sick. Now the last time an illness came through our family, Tom, I fought the good fight, brother. I mean, I fought the good fight. My wife had it, then she started coming out of it, and then my daughter got it, and then she had it, she started coming out of it. And I was like, I made it. No, I didn't. They got me right at the last. And Tom, that was the first illness I've had since 2019. I had an amazing run of eluding. I had food poisoning here and there. You eat some bad food at the grocery store or whatever. I don't eat the pre-made food that's just sitting out there in the cooler anymore because I got bugs off it a couple of times. So but just the head cold, the virus thing, I went 4 years without it. How have you stayed healthy all week?
Well, Rick, I'm so crazy. I bought a house with an in-law apartment, and that's where I live. I have my own fridge. I have 3 TVs. I have my own bathroom. I have my own shower. My family barely sees me anyway, so I'm in good shape. I just lock the door, and I'm done.
Oh my God, is that amazing? So, do you have 3 TVs on one wall?
Yes.
My man. Tom, please. I have 4 TVs on one wall. Okay. I was going to do 3. And I flew my guy down here from Atlanta to Tampa to hook it all up and put them up on the wall and do it very professionally. I'm so glad I did that because I am not a handyman, Tom. There's no way I could pull that off. Literally, like it's 455s all like butted together in like a huge square on my wall. And it's so clutch for watching the NFL on Sunday, specifically in the 1 to 4 window, right? When all the games are going on. And so I'm watching 8 games at once. And so I had 2 and then 1 over it. And my guy was down here and I'm like, I'm going to go to Best Buy and get a 4th TV. What am I doing here? Let's do the 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. And so I did. And I'm telling you, like it's been a lifelong dream of mine to have a setup like that. You're the only other guy I've ever talked to who has literally, Tom, not just 2 TVs, but like 3 or 4 TVs on one wall, who's not a ball player. I got ball player friends like NBA guys, like rich ball players. They got that. But us regular dudes, it's you and me, Tom.
Yeah, no, it's been my dream too, and I'm the same way. I paid someone to put them up. Listen, if one of those TVs goes, I probably have to sell the house because I don't even know how to get it off the stinking thing. So
I know.
The guy was drilling into the wall, putting big screws in there. I mean, there's no chance I can even change out one of those TVs.
It's elaborate, man. You can't I flew a good friend of mine, an engineer up in Atlanta, did a lot of radio with him. He's really smart and a great dude. And he's an engineer. Like they're not making on-air money. So, okay, let's hook up my boy a little bit here too, give him a little something for the effort. And so it was all good, man. But he came down and hooked it up. But it is not amateur hour when you are doing that. No way. And like you, I'm praying that those TVs stay good for a long, long time because if one of them goes out, I have no idea how to fix. Probably going to have to hire a handyman to come in and do that. But anyway, let's talk some football here, Tom. Let's get into the Week 9 slate in the National Football League. Let me start here with a game that me and Jeff Cadillac disagreed on earlier. I like Detroit plus the 3.5. He liked Green Bay minus 3.5 going into Detroit. So a bit of a polarizing game here. Which side of this one are you on?
Yeah, it's funny you started with that one because I like the Packers this week. And the reason I do is I think the Lions are close to checking out. They lost 2 games easily before. Then they came back off the bye refreshed, and what happens? They lose the same way they've been losing for 2 years in a row, right? They get the lead, they blow the lead. I just worry these player coaches like Dan Campbell, right? Like Wade Phillips, those guys like that. When they lose it, Rex Ryan, when they lose a team, they really lose it. And I'm trying to get ahead of the curve here. I think it's coming. I will say this, Dan Campbell better win one of these next couple games because they have the on Thanksgiving Day, and everyone talks about that London game. Oh, if you lose the London game, you'll get teams don't like to get embarrassed on Turkey Day either. And he's got Buffalo coming to town, so he better do some winning. Here's why I kind of like the Packers a little bit here, Rick. I think they can run the ball on Detroit. The Packers, what's broken in Green Bay is not going to get fixed on Sunday. But if they finally give Jones and Dillon the carries and just overpower this bad Lions defense, that's where I think they have the edge. Now, will they do it? I don't know because Dillon gets like 4 carries a game for some reason. But that's where I think they have the edge there.
Okay, so you have Green Bay, and I'm on a lonely island here with Detroit. Let's go to I'm just kind of scanning through here. Like, this is not a great slate of games in Week 9 in the NFL. It really isn't. I'm literally struggling to find one sexy game. Okay, so let's talk about a game that coming into the season was sexy and no longer is. And I think you know where I'm going with this. Rams at Bucks. Bucks laying 3. Which side of this one are you on?
Yeah, this is a tough one because it's Week 9. Neither team looks good. I know Cup's going to play. I lean the Bucks a little bit, only because the Rams have lost 3 linemen, and the Bucks did too, but they lost them a while ago now. The Rams are still trying to figure that out. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I don't love either side in it. I think it's going to be an ugly game. I don't think either offense is all of a sudden going to wake up and look good. You know, the Rams are going to throw the cup. They can't run the football. The Bucks can't really get anything going on. Some of the receivers are, Godwin's getting a little bit healthier, but a slight lean to Tampa Bay. But this, I agree with you. The games overall, I thought this week were tough to handicap.
Very tough to handicap. How about Bills laying 11.5 at the Jets, Tom? Are you I see a pretty healthy, pretty convincing Bills win here. I'm on the Bills minus the points. How about you?
Yeah, I wanted to take the Jets plus the 11. I really did. I thought that was going to be a nice spot for them, but I just don't know how they move the ball offensively, right? I think the defense can stay around for a while, but when you don't get first down in with fire with this Bills offense, just giving them the ball back, you got to sustain drives. You got to put points on the board to beat Buffalo. I'm worried if the Jets keep going 3 and out and punting, even if the defense keeps them close for a while, sooner or later, Josh Allen makes the plays. They pull away. I like Buffalo. I'm looking at this game as maybe like a live bet or a second half bet. If the Jets can stay relatively close early, I kind of thought the same way with the Eagles game. I thought they wouldn't maybe be focused for that game. Maybe the Texans stay close. So I actually live bet the Eagles last night. And I'm looking at the same kind of bet maybe for Buffalo on Sunday.
I like it a lot. Tom Casale, he's an absolute badass. He's with us at Bettor Sports Network. Tell him about the shows that you do here on Bettor Sports Network. He's also with Action Network, New York Post. But tell him where they can watch you here on the Bettor Sports Network.
Yeah, every Saturday, 10 to 12, homecoming. Me and Corey Parsons break down all the college football games, all the action. And then Sunday, it's the long one, the long ride, 1 to 5. Me, Corey, and Adam Ronis. We're live during all the games, reacting, live betting, talking about the fantasy stuff. So come by, check us out. We always want to hear from people in the chat. Call us up, complain about whatever you want to. We're here for you.
I love it, Tom. I love it. All right, so let's talk about what game do I want to go to here. All right, here's a game I got a vibe on. I feel like this is the choky, what the hell, Viking fan. Can't tell them anything right now. They think they're winning the Super Bowl, and this is the letdown. This is the exhale game. This is the Kirk Cousins choke game. It's at Washington with my guy. I love me some Taylor Heineke. Super underrated, way more talented than people think. And Washington's got a little bit of a spark and a vibe right now at home. I don't know if it's the proverbial trap game, Tom, but I don't like Minnesota in this game. I will take Washington plus 3.5 as a home dog here. How you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I agree with you. I like Washington in this spot. I think, listen, it wasn't all Carson Wentz's fault, but you get a quarterback like that, he's got a lot of pressure. I think he starts playing a little poorly. He presses, where you get a guy off the bench like Heineke, and he can just let it fly a little bit. They got that really, really big win at the end against the Colts last week. Sometimes in the NFL, a game like that can propel you a little bit. I'm with you on the Vikings. I say it every week and they don't lose, so maybe I'm just wrong. Last week they had that Arizona team. I actually liked them last week. I bet against Arizona pretty much every week. I don't think they have it. So, but I agree. I'm not going to say they're a bad football team because there's really no good football teams. There's like 2 in the entire league. But I think they're a little overvalued. I like Washington at home. I think this is going to be a close game, and getting over the field goal with a 3.5 is what I like here.
I like it, Tom. Let's shift to college a little bit here. If memory serves, last weekend in college football was rather Dudley. We've got some big games coming up this week. So let's start with the big enchilada here, Tom. Number 1, Tennessee. At number 3, Georgia. Both 8-0. UGA laying 8.5 here. I like Tennessee to live inside the number, Tom. How about you?
Yeah, I do. I didn't bet it. I don't overly understand the number. When I can't really get to understand the number, I kind of stay away from the game. I know that the odds makers from the start of the season, Ohio State, were on a different level. If you look at the games of the years, Ohio State was double-digit favorite over everybody, including Michigan. So they thought were above everyone else. So I understand that they still are giving them a lot of respect. But man, Tennessee, they're just playing too now for 8.5. I mean, think about it. Georgia could kind of control this game, and you can still cover late with 8.5. I lean the Vols here. I think it's going to be a heck of a football game. I think there's a little bit too much love being shown to Georgia, especially with the injury to their linebacker that happened this week. They haven't really had a game to overcome that yet. So I agree. I think Tennessee covers the 8.5 points.
All right, so we're like-minded on that. Big game down in Death Valley at night. They tell me never to bet against LSU in Death Valley at night, but I like the Tide here, 7-1. LSU is 6-2, and the Tide are laying 13.5. And based on, LSU has a 10 to the left of their name, and they're at home, and they're getting 13.5 points. That may be dubious to some, and to me, that's like Vegas saying, "Yo, we got to put a big number on this." We look. Bottom line is, Tom, I understand that LSU got an impressive win last week against Mississippi. I think 45-20, but like the other big boys they have played have beaten them, and I feel like LSU's gotten healthy off of some of the lower teams in the SEC. I'm not sold. So I will take Saban over Kelly here. How about you?
Yeah. So I say this all the time. Brian Kelly is a heck of a football coach. He might not be a great human being, but he's a heck of a football coach, right? He's even a little bit ahead of where I thought he was going to be. I thought next year is the year I'm going to be all over LSU. They're going to be really, really good next year. Here's the thing about LSU, though. They're still weak on defense. That's where Kelly really has to go recruit, and it's in the trenches that they're weak. Remember, Tennessee ran the ball all over them. I know everyone thinks Hendon Hooker throwing the football all over the place. They ran it right down their throats. That's where I think Alabama has a big edge. I agree with you. Listen, I'm a big Kelly guy. I'm be on LSU next year. I think everyone looks at that number, sees all those points. I think Alabama comes in, and I think they roll LSU Saturday night.
Roll LSU on Saturday night. All right, I'm having fun here with you, Tom. Talking college football with you. I want to give you a take, okay, and then ask you a question about North Carolina and Virginia. UNC is 7-1. They're laying 7.5 at UVA. To me, the third best pro prospect in college football is Drake May. Number 1 is Bryce Young. Number 2 is CJ Stroud. And number 3 is Drake May. And he's not draft eligible until 2024. I could not be in more football love with Drake May. Tom, I want you to understand and everybody to understand, I'm not making a one-to-one comp here. But when we do the comp game, we're talking about glimpses, vibes, right? We see things of a player in another player. And the way Drake May can throw without his feet underneath him and feather that ball wherever he wants, and the arm talent that he has, the different arm slots, the touch he has on the ball, the wizardry he has with the accuracy at such a young age, he gives me Aaron Rodgers vibrations, okay? I love this young fella. So I wanted to bounce that thought off of you. Are you as high on Drake May as I am? And do you also agree with me that the play here is the heels minus the 7.5?
Yeah, so we're on the same page tonight because this is going to sound weird, but remember, I'm projecting ahead. The 3 quarterbacks you just named, if you said you can start your NFL team with one of them a couple years from now, I would take May. I think he's that good. I think he's going to be an easy top pick in the draft. And I love the other 2 quarterbacks. I mean, it's not that I don't love Stroud or Young. I like them both. I'm just saying, I agree with you 100%. I see something in May that's going to make him the clear-cut number 1 draft pick when he comes out. And I can tell you this right now, Rick. pro bettors think Elliott, the head coach for Virginia, is the worst in college football. They bet against Virginia every week.
Is he the Hackett of college football?
Yeah,
Your boy Hackett?
He's the Hackett of college football. And since we can't bet against Hackett this week because we're on a bye, let's go ahead and bet against Tony Elliott. I'm telling you, I think UNC takes them out behind the woodshed. I think they blow them out. This is a UNC team that I bet against early in the season because the defense was so bad and they were overvalued. The defense has gotten a little bit better. It just has to be average. Virginia can't score against anybody. So way too much UNC offense in that game. I think they win.
Just quickly here, Tom, on the Virginia side. So I'm a big college football fantasy player as well. I'm in 6 college football fantasy leagues, 3 of them for money. And so I had I was taking running backs and wide receivers early on, and I was like, I'll just wait and get Brennan Armstrong. And you know the year he had last year.
Yeah.
Phenomenal year. 4,400 yards, 30-plus touchdowns, 9 on the ground. Like, he was amazing. And then that was with what was his name? Bronco Mendenhall. And obviously not a great coach. They blew him out. But now Elliott comes in. So I'm curious just to take somebody else's temperature on this. Does Brennan Armstrong suck, or are we blaming Elliott for ruining Brennan Armstrong?
Well, my biggest college football futures bet was Syracuse over 4.5, right? One of the reasons is they got not only Virginia's offensive coordinator, they got their quarterback coach. They're bringing both of those guys to Syracuse to work with Schrader, who's injured this week, but has had a pretty good season for Syracuse, right? Syracuse should have beat Clemson. They're having a good year. So not only did you lose the head coach, you guys who were in charge of the offense. Then you bring in an idiot coach. God only knows who he has working under him. I always say idiots hire idiots, right? So that's what I think's wrong. Not only did they lose coaches and players, you don't have a very good coaching staff. I mean, listen, I haven't heard pro bettors talk about a guy like they talk about Tony Elliott in a long time. So I think that it's kind of ruined that offense. And maybe he ends up being kind of a sleeper pick in the NFL draft because people will be going by this year. But when he had the coaches in place, he was one of the top.
I said the same thing about Sam Howell with a little bit different contextualization. You remember his second to last year in college. He was amazing with Javonte Williams and Michael Carter and Diami Brown and Daz Newsome. And then they all went to the pros, and he was left with nobody, and he had kind of a down year, and so everybody hated him, and he dropped to the 5th round. You know that Sam Howell was a top 10 pick in the freaking draft coming off of that 2020 season, and everybody overreacted to 1 year. And look, Heineke's my boy. But at the end of the season, I would like to see my guy Sam Howell up under there just a little bit. One more game to ask you about, Tom, and we'll let you go. Wake and NC State, both 6-2. Wake is on the road laying 3. Which side of this one are you on?
Boy, you must or something, Rick. That's my top play of the week. You pick a random game and it's my top play. I was on Louisville last week, right? Plus the 4. I've never seen a game like that in my life. 6 turnovers in 1 quarter. 2 of them go back for touchdowns. They're basically stealing the ball from guys and running them in. It looked like a youth football game. I take games like that and I throw them out because that wasn't the Wake offense. That's not how they play. It's not how Hartman plays. It's one of those games you can't really explain. So NC State lost Devin Leary at quarterback, who I was on this NC State team coming into the year. I bet them to win the ACC, but the reality is they haven't been good on offense all season, even with Leary. But they're averaging 16.6 points per game. I don't think NC State's got a pretty good defense. They're not playing as well as Louisville's front 7. I don't think they can do to Wake Forest what Louisville did, and I don't think their offense can keep up with Wake Forest. Think about this. If Wake Forest doesn't have that crazy quarter, remember, Louisville took the lead early, and Wake Forest stormed back before halftime. If Wake Forest wins that game, they're laying 7 points here. So I think you take that game, you throw it away, and you grab the value with the Demon Deacons.
I love the explanation. It was an act of God game that Wake was in last week. And by the way, the Louisville defense is badass. And Tom, you know that a great college football fantasy defense, sacks, turnovers, touchdowns, returns. They've got a lot of playmakers on that side of the ball. So, Tom, you're my boy. Thanks so much for making some time. Look, my friend, good luck tomorrow in the championship game against the big boys coming down to face you guys. God bless your son. Hopefully he's feeling right as rain tomorrow. Get some Wheaties in him. Keep the roving IV truck on standby and go get a win tomorrow.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks for having me. Good luck this weekend.
All right, my guy right there. Tom, right back at you. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Tom Casale. We should be applauding that man right now for his great work. But Tom's a stud. We love having him on and talking pro and college football with your boy, Cam. Let's come back. I want to check out some of the comments here, man, and kind of have a few laughs with you guys here in our comment area. You're like, what's the comment area? Actually, check that. We have the giveaway coming up here at the top of the hour. We are giving away in moments a DJ Moore signed Carolina Panthers mini helmet at 9 o'clock Eastern time. DJ Moore in the house the last couple of weeks. Caught that huge, amazing touchdown against the Atlanta Falcons. We have a signed Carolina Panthers mini helmet for you, but you got to be lucky. You have to follow us at Bettor Network. You got to go to our Twitter timeline and see the tweet with the DJ Moore helmet. You got to like it, and you got to retweet it, and then you got to listen. It's that simple. So hang out with your boy Cam. Maybe you'll get a DJ Moore signed Carolina Panthers mini helmet when we come back right here on Bettor Sports Live.
This is Jeff Power with Real Time Fantasy Sports. I wanted to talk to you today about our great pick'em contest we're running now here at Real Time Fantasy Sports. Just go to www.rtsports.com/DFS-pick'em and sign up for one of these great contests today. And we are doing a 100% deposit match right now. Just put in the code BSN and take advantage of that 100% deposit match. I'm going to give you three of my favorite plays this week for pick'em when it comes to week 9 of the fantasy football season. My first one is running back Aaron Jones. I love him for the over 17.6 fantasy points. He's really been playing great right now. He has 19 plus fantasy points each of his last 2 games. They're using him as both a runner and receiver. He had a season high 143 rushing yards last week. He has 13 catches his last 2 games. I think he'll do really well this week against a very bad Lions defense. Detroit allows the 3rd most fantasy points of running backs and 32.1 points per game. So I love Aaron Jones and the over 17.6. My next favorite play this week is DJ Moore over 68.5 receiving yards. Moore's been really good with the addition of PJ Walker as a starting quarterback. He has played his best football this season. His last 2 games topped the 100-yard mark for the first time all season last week. He has scores 2 straight games, double-digit targets each of those games. He was targeted double-digit times just once all season before his last 2 games. So I think he's going to keep it going this week against a really banged-up Cincinnati secondary that allowed 268 passing yards to a pretty mediocre Browns passing game last week. Love more in this matchup. And my last play for this week is Jared Goff and under 19.1 fantasy points. Now, I like Green Bay to score a lot this week in the matchup against the Lions. I don't like the Lions to score too much, especially after trading TJ Hawkinson. DeAndre Swift is banged up too. I don't know who Goff's going to throw to outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's really going to have a struggle in this matchup against Green Bay. They allow the 4th fewest fantasy points to quarterbacks. Plus, Goff has really cooled off lately. He has just 1 touchdown his last 3 games. So I like him for under 19.1 fantasy points. All right, put this to use and get them in your pick'em lineups. Again, go to rtsports.com/DFS-pick'em. 100% deposit match going on right now. Just use the code BSN. Good luck in all of your fantasy games this week. I hope you have a lot of success and come out victorious. This has been Jeff Power with Real Time Fantasy Sports.
Behold the King of Kings. On your knees, dog.
I love it.
Bow down to the King.
All right. I think the King is Dave Poland. I'm not sure. Or maybe there's a new sheriff in town. Dave Poland was saying, he was joking about Tobias Harris. He goes, Tobias Harris went over. I'm calling the shots here. Look at me. I'm the captain now. Dave Poland, that's absolutely hilarious. He said, I'm joking. I'm on my second cocktail. Dave, do your damn thing, man. You go out there and you drink a little bit, man, on a Friday night, responsibly at home in front of the TV. Just do it, man. Knock yourself out. And Bettor Boss, you're right. That is Cam music. Hard, heavy, old school. I love it. So I'm going to wait for it to hit 9. It just hit 9 o'clock. It just hit 9 o'clock. And we have a winner of the DJ Moore signed Carolina Panthers mini helmet. We give away cool collectibles here on Bettor Sports Network. His name is Teddy Ricketson. Teddy Ricketson is the winner of the DJ Moore signed mini helmet, courtesy of your boys, your fam at Bettor Sports Network. DJ Moore signed mini helmet of the Carolina Panthers for Teddy Ricketson. Teddy, congratulations, brother. If you would like to join the show and chat with me like Bron Witten did last night, go ahead, hit the call button on the app right next to the fun button. You got an audio and video option. Take the audio option, take the video option. Come on in here and talk with your boy. We love interacting with you guys. And we want your interaction all the time. So check us out. Follow us at Bettor Network. And obviously, if you're listening, you've downloaded the app. But Teddy Ricketson for the win, baby. Teddy Ricketson for the win. Let's talk about DJ Moore here for a little bit. How life changes without Baker Mayfield, right? Baker Mayfield, like, you got to be kidding me. And remember, there was hype in the preseason about Baker Mayfield vibing with DJ Moore, and they completed a touchdown at practice, and Carolina Panthers writers and reporters and observers, there's really a connection and a spark between Baker Mayfield and DJ Moore. And then the regular season came. Check out DJ Moore's chronology of events this year. Week 1, 43 yards. Week 2, 43 yards. Week 2, you thought it was bad? We got 2 yards from DJ Moore. Week 4, 50 yards. Week 5, 59 yards. Week 6, 7 yards. I'm not making this up. He literally had a 2-yard game and a 7-yard game. Are you freaking kidding me, bro? Are you freaking kidding me, bro? Come on, man. This is a stud. This is a at least top 20. Now, he's a top 15 wide receiver in the NFL. Bruh, a 2-yard game and a 7-yard game? Are you kidding me, man? Are you freaking kidding me? So the last 2 with PJ Walker, giddy up. Last week, 6 carries, 152 yards, and a touch ski in 11 targets. Had the big catch at the end of the game. DJ Moore took his helmet off, got a penalty that kind of sort of cost him the game. But you know what? I don't want to bring up old stuff. Focusing on the positives here. The week before, DJ Moore, 7 catches, 69 yards, and a touch. PJ Walker is like, yo, I got to get the rock to the number 1 guy. That's how they keep me around here, right? Baker was unable to get the ball to the number 1 guy. Where's Baker Mayfield right now? He's healthy and not playing, okay? Get the ball to the number 1 guy. There have been times this year with Marcus Mariota in Atlanta not getting the ball to Kyle Pitts, and now, over the last month, not getting the ball to Drake London. Bro, that's how you don't keep your job. You got to get the ball to the money guys, to the highly drafted guys, to the guys that are paid. DJ Moore got paid before this year, 3 years, and almost $62 million. And it's funny money. It's NFL money. He won't get all that money, but you get the point. That's a hell of an investment in DJ Moore. DJ Moore is one of my favorite fantasy players. I love him. And you say, Cam, he doesn't score touchdowns. I care about touchdowns. I don't care about touchdowns. That's pretty arrogant in fantasy football. And I'm not arrogant. But I've said this all the time. I love slots. I would rather have targets, catches, yards, and I'll let the touchdowns take care of themselves. That's just my theory. That's my philosophy. I want a guy catching the ball a lot. I don't want, for example, DJ Moore versus a guy like Allen Lazard. Allen Lazard with Green Bay, when he's healthy, basically scores every week. but his yardage totals are really weird. Sometimes it's 30 or 50 or 40 or 70 or whatever. Like DJ Moore is an 8-catch, 100-yard guy and maybe doesn't score a touchdown. I like the volume. I'm a volume guy. In baseball, everyday players, in your hitting lineup, volume with pitching. I'm not beating you with quality at pitching. I'm beating you with quantity at pitching. Basketball, in like weekly head-to-head leagues, you look at how many games your guys are playing. Okay, this guy's got 4 games. This guy's got 3 games. I'm going to play the guy with the 4 games over the guy with the 3 games. Volume, math, the more the better. And so DJ Moore, over the previous 3 years, 87 grabs, 1,175 yards, 66 grabs, 1,193 yards, 93 grabs, 1,157 yards, right? That's what I'm talking about. High catches. It's over 1,100 yards the last 3 years. That won't happen this year because of the quarterbacks. This year he's at 33 for 425 and 3 scores. So if we double that up to get to 16 games, it's 66 grabs. Let me write this down. It'd be 66 for 850 and 6. Okay, we know it's 17 games now. Let's tack on another game. We're probably at 70 catches, 900 yards, and let's keep it at 6 touchdowns. Okay, obviously not a great stat line. 70, 906. If you're in a super deep league, you can win a championship with that. But if you're in a 10 or 12, that's not what you're looking for. You need more than that. And we drafted DJ Moore to be more than that. But it is what it is. It's the quarterback thing. But with PJ Walker in here now, DJ Moore over the last 2 weeks has gotten back to being one of the best wide receivers in fantasy football. Around the corner, 9:30 Eastern time, we're going to welcome a new face and a new voice to Bettor Sports Network. His name is Josh Chevalier with College Football Guys on Twitter. And we will talk college football with him coming up at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. The comments in here, let me check a couple of these. Better Boss says, as great as DJ Moore is, he is not quarterback proof, unlike some other great receivers. It's a good point right there. It is. DeAndre Hopkins had terrible QBs and was always a stud. It's a great point by Better Boss, aka Matt Deutsch. There was a year where DeAndre Hopkins got busy with what in the hell is the guy's name? Why can't I think of this? Oh my God. It wasn't Matt Schaub. It was, his career backup. I can't believe I can't think of it. It's not AJ McCarron. He was like a coach for them at some point. Can you guys think of that guy? Oh God, it's going to just burn me up. I need a break to do the digging on that. I can't bring it out of the recesses of my brain, but there was a backup quarterback that started. It was the year that Deshaun Watson tore his ACL and the backup quarterback took over and DeAndre Hopkins didn't post the same numbers as, no, it wasn't Josh McCown. Good call, Better Boss. Better Boss, help me out here, bro. It's just absolutely eating me alive right now, like a parasite. It was not Kyle Allen, better Jalen. It was not. Oh my God. Somebody please help me, bail me out here. It was just a regular old, let me see here. It was not Tom Savage, Tyler Soto, who is a Houston guy. No, it was somebody else. This is crazy. I've got 3 really good guesses, and it's none of these guys. I want to say Hanson, but it wasn't Hanson. I mean, literally, the name is at the tip of my tongue right now, and I can't think of it. It is driving me absolutely crazy. But the difference, Better Boss, is you guys please keep throwing names at me here. I can't do a Google search live on the air. The difference is, you're right, because Nuke Hopkins is a future Hall of Famer, and DJ Moore is not a future Hall of Famer. Do you know what I'm saying? So, there's a different category and class of guy. DJ Moore is in a really good lane of wide receivers, but Nuke Hopkins is in the future Hall of Fame lane. It was not Drew Henson, and it was not Taylor Heineke. It was not. These are great suggestions. Anthony Rivera, Tyler Soto bouncing these suggestions off of me. It was not Case Keenum. Another great suggestion. It was not Case Keenum. Who was this random ass backup quarterback turned starter? It was not Ryan Mallett, Better Boss. It was not. I'm telling you. It was not Derek Anderson, Better Jalen. It was not. Keep TJ Yates for the win. Better Boss for the win. Let's go. TJ Yates. That's who it was. Better Boss. I am so excited right there. Oh my God. We went through like 10 names of guys, and you guys, these are all great guesses. But it's like, no. I'm like the Kimbe Mutombo in here. No. Better Boss says, credit Wikipedia. Indeed. TJ Yates for the win. Didn't think we'd go down the TJ Yates road tonight. I didn't. Better Boss, you're a genius, man. TJ freaking Yates. I love it. I love those games. We're just nerds having fun with sports, man, on a Friday night. What in the hell? It's what we do, man. All right. Let's get to Ricky props for the NFL Week 9. I got a lot of them for you. Let me run them through fast break style here. Grab a pen, get a little sheet of paper here, write them down, vet them, and play them. Stack them all. Put them together like Legos. Do whatever you have to do. But we're on Justin Fields. Over 169.5 yards. I know. I'm going there. I like what I'm seeing from the young fella. 169.5 passing yards for Justin Fields. We're going over that number. Taylor Heineke, my boy. He is my boy. 231.5 passing yards. We're shooting over that number at home against Minnesota. Fields, by the way, is at home against Miami with a bad pass defense. Fields over 169.5. Heineke over 231.5. We are Aaron Rodgers under 263.5. 263.5 at Detroit. Because Aaron Rodgers is Mr. 220 and 2. 220 is not 263. 220 is not close to 263. We're under on Rodgers at 263.5. But we are over on Aaron Rodgers touchdowns at 1.5. We are going over this number at Detroit. I think he's going to have 2 touchdowns this week and, 225 yards, Mr. 220 and 2. So I'm going over the touchdowns, under on the yards for Aaron Rodgers. Let's go to the running back position. Khalil Herbert at 37.5 rushing yards. This number is too low. Miami is way better against the run than they are against the pass. But Khalil Herbert is going to hit this number. He's rolling right now. Wait till you hear some of the numbers I dug up on Herbert. But 37.5 rushing yards, we're going over that number. Kenneth Walker. He's coming off kind of a down game. I like that. Okay, he's going to get back over 75. We need 73.5 here. Kenneth Walker, I think, is going to have a big one at Arizona. And again, the full explanation coming up on this. Stephon Diggs, 77.5 receiving yards. We're going over this number at the New York Jets. I'll explain. Darnell Mooney, I'm going to attach him to Justin Fields. We're going over on Fields at 169.5. We're going to go over on Darnell Mooney at 41.5. That's it, 41.5. Measly. 41.5. Again, at home against Miami's shreddable pass defense. Terry McLaurin, 66.5 receiving yards at home against Minnesota. Going over that number, again, attaching him to Taylor Heineke, who we've got an over vibe on. So that's it. That's the, I guess it's a 9-pack of props that we have for you for week 9 in the NFL. Totally coincidental that the numbers are the same. That's what a coincidence is, folks. And coincidence is not irony. Let you chew on that one for a minute. Boy, you're really confused now, aren't you? I am too, frankly. Justin Fields, over 169.5 passing yards. Minus 115 to the over here. He's been over this number in 4 of the last 5 games. My man is cooking, okay? Now, last week, he wasn't. He had 150 yards. He had some runs, had some throws. Like, he had a decent game. They put up 29 at Dallas. Nothing to sneeze at. But he was below this number. He had 150 yards. The previous 4 games, he was over this number. What do we know about Dallas' defense? It's amazing, okay? So, and he's at Dallas. That's a really tough matchup. This is at home against Miami. It's not the best matchup of all time because Miami's a good team, but Miami does not have a good pass defense. So it is a good matchup in that way. But there's an overall vibe with Justin Fields, right? When you watch him, are you watching him? Please watch him. This is NFL history we're watching here. This young fella might take over the league at some point. You might want to plug into him now. His whole game is improving every week. It's the intangibles, the poise, the leadership, the know-how, the I got this. He just looks like he's got this now. You remember last year with Nagy? eyes spinning, deer in headlights, overthrowing receivers. It was just an absolute disaster. I blame Nagger. I blame Nagy. You know what I mean? I blame him for that. And obviously Justin missed some throws, but Nagy was losing all control of that team. And your boy Nagger isn't there anymore. Okay, Nagy is now, I believe, in Kansas City, quarterback coaching Patrick Mahomes. Help is on the way here for Justin Fields in the name of Chase Claypool. And thank you, Coach Eberflus. Eberflus said he's going to be on the field for between 10 and 35 snaps. Well, I'm glad you cleared that up. But he's going to be on the field. It's going to be more help for Justin Fields, which is what we've been clamoring for all along. Justin Fields has a better connection with Mooney and Kmet of late. You're seeing it. They're going to him more. They're being more successful together. They're still not tilting the machine, but they're more successful together. It's a start. Miami sucks against the pass, like I said. They're 26th in passing yards allowed, giving up 262 passing yards per game. All we need is 170 from Justin Fields. I think we're going to get it. And I think Justin Fields is going to have a plus 200-yard passing game coming up on Sunday at home against the Fish. Now, let's go to our nation's capital. Ricky Prop's taking you there by way of Taylor Heineke. 231.5 passing yards. We're going over this number. It's a minus 115 to the over, so the odds, the juice is flat here. He is Mr. Underrated. Everybody is ready to fast forward to Sam Howell. Frankly, I kind of am too, but guess what? This guy can play. Carson Wentz will not play another down for this team this year. I promise you. Unless both guys get hurt, God forbid. But Heineke's going to have this job until he kind of resorts to being Taylor Heineke. Like, because there is a dud coming up around the corner, right? He's not a Pro Bowler. He's not like, a franchise quarterback. He's good. So we're going to get the dud coming up here. But that dud is not going to be this week. So since he's taken over the last couple of weeks, he's thrown for 201 yards against Green Bay. And then last week, 279 yards in the come-from-behind victory at Indianapolis. The thing about the Green Bay game is here, if you watch that game, you remember that Taylor Heineke was really rusty and really off to start that game. The first quarter and a half, missing a ton of throws that were there, receivers that were open, but he missed it. And he left cash and he left yardage on the table. Had Heineke gotten off to a good start, a regular start in that game, he would have shot over this number of 231.5. Just saying, you would have had to watch the game to understand that. But he played a lot better, like dropping dimes in the last 2.5 quarters of that game 2 weeks ago against Green Bay. So to me, that's how I can navigate through that 201 is because I watched the game. # watch the games. Otherwise, you look at it and you see 201. Wow, I'm not going over here. He's under 1 week and over the next. If you watch the Green Bay game, you understand that it should have been more than that. And so Taylor Heineke has eradicated those mistakes, and he's been good to go ever since. Okay, like literally kind of like locked in ever since. Minnesota's pass defense sucks. They're 29th in passing yards allowed at 275 yards per game. All we got to get to here is 231.5. Let's go over this number. He's at home. Okay, I like that. And I have Washington pulling off the upset this week. How do they pull off the upset? With Taylor Heineke having a good game. He's not going to have a great game. He's going to throw for 260 yards and 2 touchdowns, right? Like a nice game. It's not going to 303 and all this. No, we're not getting that. But we're going to go over 231.5. Probably going to have a couple of touchdown passes. And you watch. Taylor Heineke is going to outplay your boy, Kirk Cousins, who has, of course, the Romo gene. We are under, as I said, Aaron Rodgers at 263.5 passing yards. Under. Minus 115 to the under, so no juice change on either side. Here's a stat for you. Are you sitting down? Aaron Rodgers, your boy with the man bun, has not hit this number this season. Did you know that? Mr. 220-2 has not hit 263 yards yet this year. Whoa! Are you serious? Yeah, Ricky Props, I'm freaking serious. He's at 225 per game this year. That's his average. That's not Aaron Rodgers. We know the whole thing is off, right? So let's go under on this number. I know Detroit's defense is awful. I get it. They're 27th, allowing 266 passing yards per game. But Aaron Rodgers has played against bad defenses and good defenses and middling defenses and all defenses, and he's never gone over this number this year, 263.5. Why would he go below this number? Have you watched Green Bay play lately? They're cooked. And they're not at home. At Lambeau, you may be able to plug into the crowd, win one for the Gipper, the whole thing. This is just another game in a lost season at Detroit. They're probably going to let their guard down a little bit. Detroit is very feisty, very motivated. They got one win on the year. They want another win so bad they can taste it. And Detroit has been very, very competitive at home this year. They lost to the Eagles by only 3 points, and they lost to Seattle by only 3 points. Okay? Those are good losses for what it's worth. Aaron Rodgers, 1.5 touchdown passes. We're going over this number. Now, there is a lot of juice involved here. I'll say that. It's minus 220 to the over on 1.5 touchdowns. Here's why I like this bet. Many reasons why. Aaron Rodgers typically shreds Detroit. He averages 2.2 touchdown passes in 24 career meetings against the Lions. That is our indicator right there. He always throws for 2 touchdowns against Detroit. Aaron Rodgers, check this out too. He has thrown for 2 touchdowns in 6 of the last 7 games this year. He throws for exactly 2 touchdowns in every game. Detroit has allowed 12 touchdown passes in 7 games this year, almost 2 per game. Detroit allows 32 points per game, dead last in the NFL. Lazard should be back for Green Bay this week. That helps. And he's like the touchdown guy. He's not going to really help Rodgers go over the yardage number, but Alan Lazard, they love him in the red zone, and rightly so. So we're over Rodgers, minus 220 at the 1.5 touchdowns. Khalil Herbert, 37.5. Check this number out. You're going to love this. By the way, he's a minus 135 to the over. Tons of action sending this one to a minus 135. Khalil Herbert's flow this year, 45 over, 38 over, 157 over, 77 over, 11 under, 74 over, 62 over, 99 over. He's over this number in 7 of 8 games this year, 37.5. His role is growing in the offense, not decreasing. Take a guess. What's Khalil Herbert's average per carry this year? Take a guess. Hit me up in the comments right here. Hit me up in the comments. What is his average per carry this year? Take a guess. 3, 2, 1. I can't wait anymore. 6.2. 6.2 yards per carry. Holy expletive. Miami is 6th against the run. They are number 6 against the run. Okay. I got to address this number here. They're allowing 100 rushing yards per game. We need 40. And the guy's hot like fire. And he's at home. I like it. If Miami was giving up 75 yards a game on the ground, I wouldn't like it. You're giving up 100 yards on the ground. Montgomery gets 60. My guy gets 40. We all win, right? Everybody wins. That's how I'm looking at it. Over Khalil Herbert, 37.5. Kenneth Walker. It takes me on Kenny Skywalker of the New York Knicks back in the day, right? No, this is Kenneth Walker of the Seattle Seahawks. 73.5 rushing yards. We're going over. The juice is flat here at a minus 115 to the over. Here's Kenneth Walker's flow over the last 4 games. He had 88, you remember, in that game where Rashad Penny got hurt. He had 8 carries in that game, went over this number. Then he had 97. Then he had 167. And then last week against New York in their really good defense, he had 51 yards, and he crashed back to earth. But now you see what we got here is the bounce back factor. He's going to be better than 51. That's as low as Kenneth Walker can go right now. When you're as high as you can go, we usually go under. When you're as low as you can go, that's when we go over. Arizona is a manageable defense here. They're 13th against the run, allowing 110 rushing yards per game. Walker is the man. I can't have enough shares of this guy right now. I want action on him. And so he is going to be a guy that we're evaluating lines and we're targeting the rest of the way. He is that good. If you're not watching him, you're missing out. He is an absolute badass. He almost won the Heisman Trophy last year, okay, with an extraordinary season at Michigan State. Second best back coming out behind Breece Hall, and he's checking all of the boxes. He's running as well as anybody in the league right now, okay? Seattle's offense moves the ball and scores every week. Could be a high-scoring game, but they are going to move the chains. Pete Carroll was talking about Kenneth Walker and said, quote, I think he just continues to show us who he is. He's very clear. He's our guy. We know who he is and how he sees things. He's really validating with the opportunities. I don't really feel like we've cut him loose yet. I think he has big games ahead. We didn't run the ball well last week. He made a couple of terrific plays, but I think we're going to see even more than we have seen already, and not just in the run game, but the pass game too. What do we talk about? When coaches talk up more PT for guys, it almost always pays off. And we're going to see a better game from Kenneth Walker this week. Take the over on 77.5 for him. And then do we have, how many more do we have here? We have actually like 3 more. I tell you what, let's catch a break. I'm going to come back and pay off the rest of these NFL props. And right around the corner at about 9:30 Eastern time, we've got Jeff Chevalier. He's a college football expert with CFF Guys on Twitter. I love his follow. Great fantasy analysis on college basketball. And we'll be talking about some of the big games in college football as well. When we continue here, a few more props. We'll start talking some college football, getting you ready for tomorrow's slate of games with Jeff Chevalier from CFF Guys with your boy Rick Kamla on Bettor Sports Live.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
I got to tell this story, okay? So we're out in Canton, Ohio, and we decide to go eat late at night, like after midnight. We decide to go to the Waffle House. Somehow, Fensty's never been there, even though he lives near it. I'm in New York, New Jersey. There's no Waffle House close by. So if you go to the Waffle House, what are you going to eat more than likely? Pancakes, waffles, eggs, and all that, right? So, of course, our guy Rich, he gets breakfast. I get breakfast. Fensty doesn't. He's never been to a Waffle House. How do you not have waffles? Like, it makes no sense.
Dude, there's a time for waffles.
I eat breakfast at midnight. Come on, man.
That's the thing. I didn't want breakfast, man. I got like, what was it, like a cheesesteak sandwich or something like that?
That's like someone who has never been to IHOP going there and ordering a burger. Who does that?
That I wouldn't do. That I would not.
That's the equivalent of what you did. Well, I don't even know what you had.
I got the steak sandwich, which was
steak
excellent,
sandwich at the Waffle House. Never been there, and that's what you get. You're an odd guy, man. You're an
I'm
odd
not
guy.
an odd guy.
Yes, you are. Can we get a vote? Can we get a vote in the chat, please? I mean, if you've never been to Waffle House and you get a steak wrap, something's wrong with you, right? Don't you have to get waffles and eggs and bacon and all that? It's the Waffle House.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It was my first time, okay? Ordering the hash browns was already complicated enough. Smothered and covered, and it's almost like it's crazy how much combinations you can have. And I know that everybody's killing me for it right now. And no, to our producers, I don't get pasta at a steakhouse or anything like that. No,
Alfredo, that's what he gets at the steakhouse.
Do you follow me on Instagram? I'm always on that grill. You know how much I love steak. Why would I go to a steakhouse to get pasta?
Because you go to Waffle House to get steak wraps. That's why.
I didn't know it was all waffles, bro. I thought it had like a little bit of everything. That's why. You know, I didn't realize they were famous for the waffles. Hey, look. You know,
the name of the place is the Waffle House. What else would they be famous for?
You know what? That's fine. I guess it's a hot take getting a steak sandwich. As long as it was good, I housed that thing in 10 seconds.
Okay, you were never there, and that's the first time. You're not going to try a waffle? Do you admit it was a mistake?
I don't really like waffles, man.
Bettor Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
All right, they're playing all the hits tonight. And I see my guy, Josh Chevalier, with CFF Guys, kind of nodding his head a little bit here. You liking this heavy metal, Josh?
Yeah, man. I love the chill environment, dude. I'm so excited to be on with you tonight.
Yes, sir. Josh, how do you say your last name? Did I say it right?
You nailed it, man. And you're like one of 1% of people that's actually gotten it right the first time. So I appreciate that.
Jeff Chevalier with CFF Guys. You guys do a great job. Awesome follow on Twitter. This interview and this burgeoning friendship here, Josh, just literally comes from me being a college football fantasy nerd and being absolutely starved for information about player injuries, who's in, who's out. How do I win my college football league? I don't want a bagel because some guy was a late scratch and he's going to play. And at the last minute, they pull his ass out of the lineup. My God, that is the worst part of college football. And Josh, look, it's got to change, man. It's literally got to change. Billions of dollars are being transacted on this sport. And we can't even find out that the 15th best team in the country, whether his quarterback is playing or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's utterly ridiculous. And I think with NIL and all the money that's going into betting and all of that now, I think that's going to change the game on this, hopefully, especially as, right, the professionalization of the sport is really happening. And I think as these mega conferences come to play, right, SEC, Big Ten, like they're just going to require injury reports. And I think we're going to get what we want. But man, is it frustrating right now when you get that donut and there's nothing you can do. And it, it cost me some championships last year. And, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Okay, so Josh, I want to see if you suffered the same pain that I suffered last year. So I believe I lost two semifinal games last year. I don't think it was a championship game. I think it was the semifinals. But playoff team, good roster, totally in it to win it. I've college football fantasy is the wild, wild west. And I've been very successful in that realm.
Yeah.
I'm going for a three-peat in one of my leagues, the big money league that I'm in. I'm looking for a three-peat, which is a dynasty, people. 2 is not a dynasty. 3 is a dynasty, okay? So I'm looking for a three-peat in that. But last year, Josh, Tavion Thomas of Utah was literally 2 touchdowns a game, if not 3 or 4. He was shredding everybody. So we get to, like I said, so this would have been, I don't know, week 12 or week 13 of the college season, but very, very deep into the season, the college football semis. I'm on the air on Mad Dog Sports Radio on Saturday afternoon, okay? I didn't have the ability to, check my lineup at the last minute. And so when I get off the air, I'm checking lineups. I'm like, oh, my God, Tavion Thomas didn't play. I literally lost both games by 5 points, 8 points. Tavion Thomas would have blown it out of the water and I would have won. Was Tavion Thomas that guy that tripped you up last year, or was it somebody else?
Yeah. It was him, and it was Justin Hall. I don't know if you remember Justin Hall. It was a Maction game Tuesday night, and I can't remember who Ball State was playing, but he shows up in street clothes at 5:52 p.m. and the game starts at 6. And I'm being a good dad. I'm at my son's jiu-jitsu practice, and so I don't have I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna turn my phone off. I'm good to go. And no, I was not good to go. And man, I was done. Undefeated team, number 1 in the league, and I lost. Yeah.
It's brutal, man. It's so brutal. The NFL, we know everything. We know how many times they blew their nose, farted, had fries with lunch. We know everything about these guys, and we can't literally find anything out about these college football players other than right before kickoff, we learn whether guys are in and out. Oh, okay. So, Josh, let's stop complaining here. Me more than you. Yeah, and let's talk. So help me out this week, because you got to do such a great job of tracking as best we can, who's in, who's out, injuries, all this kind of stuff. So I'll give you an open canvas here. Are there some hot button guys that you're looking at here that you want to tell people look out for this over here, giddy up on this over here? Do we have some late updates here on Friday night heading into the games on Saturday? I just want to give you an open-ended question on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple here that I think are really big, and one is Connor Weigman, the quarterback for Texas A&M, that just was incredible, right? The true freshman last week came in, had I think 29 fantasy points, but he actually got the flu this week. There's been a flu kind of breakout at Texas A&M, and so he was projected to be out. Well, they just cleared him 4 hours ago, and so he's going to play tomorrow. Not sure what he's going to give us, but on something like DraftKings, where he's 5.4K, or on Prize Picks, we can get him at 16.5 points, which he'll smash that over against the Florida Gators. I mean, he's a guy that I'm looking forward to, and so I think he's going to be good. But another one that I'm really interested in is Israel Abonaconda. Have you heard about him? Any of the rumors?
Yes. Yeah. Well, not the rumors, but the running back for Pitt. Yeah. Talk to me.
So apparently there's rumors on Pitt message boards that he might sit out the rest of the season.
Whoa.
Yeah. I haven't been able to get any confirmation. There's nothing kind of leaking on Twitter or anything like that, but trying to work some back channels and see what we can get, because man, if he is out, one, like Rodney Hammond, it was a great backup running back. He actually started the year when Abanikanda got hurt early on. He had like 130 yards rushing. I think it was West Virginia, maybe. I can't remember what the game was.
That first game of the year. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, and so he came in, and then he got injured, and then Abanikanda came back in, and just the rest is history. You know what he's done. So we need to be watching out for him early tomorrow morning to see what's going on, because if he's out of that lineup, we need to put Rodney Hammond in and need a lock and load for the rest of the season, because it sounds like Abanikanda might forego kind of nagging injuries. I think their season's pretty much done. So I think he might be looking towards his future in the NFL. So just something for us to think about, but who knows yet? Again, it's the wild, wild west. We don't get that type of information until 10:45 or 11:45 on Saturday morning.
So Josh Chevalier with CFF guys hanging out with Cam here on Better Sports Live. Folks, do you see what we mean? He said he had to go to a message board. A message board! Not Adam Schefter or Woj or Ken Rosenthal. A freaking message board. And let me say this. There are actually, we're so desperate for information on these college football players. I'm telling you, what I do, Josh, is I put Abinaconda's name in Twitter, and I just hit, send or, search or whatever. And you've got the top, and then you've got the latest. So you check both of them, right? And very rarely do you get real updates. So a lot of times it will be literally a fan with 15 followers saying something he heard at a press conference, or he heard at the sports bar last night about so-and-so and so-and-so. Literally in 2022, we are putting a message on the beak of a damn pigeon and flying that pigeon to the other town to deliver that memo to somebody because they don't want to take their horse and freaking buggy across the canal or the river or whatever. We're in the 1800s, Josh.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, for some of these small, group of five schools, right? Like the MAC, right? The Central Michigans of the world, Western Michigans, their beat writers, or basically their student writers, have no clue how vital and important they are to us. We are their biggest fans and champions.
Yes.
And some of them, I'll give a couple of shout outs, Les Johns from Wake Forest, the beat writer for Wake Forest. He gets it, and he'll respond to these messages. The Tulsa beat writer, I'm forgetting her last name, but Kelly something, she'll respond. But most of these guys are they're not responding to us. And it's look, man, we're the only ones that care about your team other than the, 2,000 fans that you have that went to your school. And no offense to these schools.
Right.
I went to James Madison, so I went to a smaller school.
You're a JMU guy. Okay. So let's get into some prop bets here. Josh Chevalier with CFF guys hanging out with your boy Rick Camley here on Better Sports Live. Let's go to the Tennessee and Georgia game. And it's kind of weird. I'm on DraftKings right now. They do not have rushing props up for Ja Morant looks like he's banged up. That ain't good. Come on, Ja, rub some dirt on it. Stay in the game. So I don't know. You tell me. Is McIntosh questionable for this game? Why wouldn't we get any George? George is going to try to run the hell out of the ball, right? What's the kid's name? DeJuan Edwards. I just picked him up in a few of my fantasy leagues. He's not the main guy, but damn, he's scoring 15, 18 points every week just because Georgia runs the damn ball all the time. Talk to me about that. Is there an injury on the Georgia side? And that's why DraftKings doesn't have any rushing lines up for the Bulldogs tomorrow. And then Jabari Small at 60.5. We know he's a touchdown scorer, but you've also got Jalen Wright there that kind of siphons and Pac-Man some of his goodies. So talk to me about the UGA side, and then do you like the over or under on Jabari Small at 60.5?
Yeah, so on the UGA side, I think what that is that Kendall Milton might be coming back this week. He was cleared last week but didn't play. So I think that's probably a little prediction on their side of we just don't know how this is going to pan out. So how do we, don't want to get hosed. on their bets, and I get that for sure. On the other side of things, but I am with you on how do you say his name? Dejan Edwards.
I haven't heard it pronounced yet.
Whatever.
I've just seen it in print, so I don't know how to say it. D. Edwards is how I know the young fella.
There we go. Our boy D. Edwards. But he certainly has been impressive with what he's done. And I mean, he's only like 4.5, 4.2K on DraftKings from a DFS perspective. On the other side of things, though, Jabari Small, man, I'm going the under on that. And here's why. Last year against Georgia held Tennessee to, I think, 55 yards rushing. And that was the lowest output for Tennessee on the year. And so, man, they're putting up 212 yards rushing per game this year. But, man, I think bread and butter for a Josh Heupel offense is the passing game. It's where they're explosive. I think it's where they can get Georgia as well. It's where they did last year. They had over 300 yards passing on them last year. So I just think that's going to be the recipe for success here. And I just, I think all the signs point to them being able to do more of that. So Jabari Small, if he's going to hit any kind of value, like you said, it's going to be on touchdowns in the red zone.
I like it. Josh, let's go to the Alabama and LSU game here, and the second biggest game of the day. Where did I have that prop? Actually, that DraftKings doesn't even have any rushing props up for that football game. Is that true? They don't have anything up for my guy Jamar Gibbs. What is going on? What's up with what? Oh, here it is. I found it. 97.5 for Jamar Gibbs. Who, don't you think, Josh, that he's going to run a sub 440 at the combine whenever he comes out? He looks like a 4.35 guy, maybe even like a 4.32 guy. The guy can go. 97.5 yards. Yeah. I do like Alabama to cover the spread here, Josh. I'm not buying the resume from LSU. They got a nice record, a nice ranking. Good win last week, but I'm not buying the total resume. This is Bama we're talking about here, and a Bama team that's already lost a game. So we know that they're basically welcoming people to the shredder right now. But Jahmyr Gibbs at 97.5, you going over or under that number?
Man, I think rushing yards, I'm going to go under on that. And here's why. I think he's either going to obliterate it because he's going to have like 270-yard runs like he did against Arkansas, or I think he's going to go under. And I think there's a couple things happening with Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, he's a smaller back, right? He's 200 pounds. And, man, they're feeding him 25 touches a game. And I'm not saying he can't handle that, but just watching the Tennessee game, watching the Mississippi State game, I mean, this is a kid that's coming out with shoulder injuries and just some different deals where he's just getting nicked up. And, they had their bye week, so maybe he's coming back and he's healthy. But I'd much rather, if I could get a rushing plus receiving prop, even if it was like 120 yards or something, I would take that over 97.5 because I just think, I mean, he'll definitely get over 97 yards total, but how he does that, how that sausage is made, I'm not sure in this game necessarily.
Good take right there. Okay, so let me ask you here about what game was I on? Oregon at Colorado. Okay, Colorado, literally, they could not be worse. Okay, and so I want to ask you about Marquise Irving, who recently I picked up in some of my college fantasy leagues. And talk to me about, like, clear it up for me. Like, is he the guy? Is it still a split backfield up there? But what I know is that he's very talented, a transfer from my Minnesota Golden Gophers. And the number here is 74.5. And this is Colorado, literally one of the worst teams of the 130 or whatever in FBS football. So I really like Marquise Irving over 74.5. Are you with me?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's been more and more his backfield, right? As the year's gone along and over the last few weeks, we've seen that in his production. And I absolutely think he'll hit over 74. I think there's so many ways for him to get there. Only way it doesn't happen is if somehow this is just 42-0 at halftime and Bo Nix has somehow gotten like 100 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns or something crazy. But it's called gambling for a reason. And so, but every sign points to him be able to hit that over, no problem.
Josh, talk to me about the Ohio State backfield. For those, like, look, not everybody plays college football fantasy, okay? So I want to give them an analogy. TreVeyon Henderson was a top 5 pick in college football fantasy coming in, okay? Think about him like a Derrick Henry or a God, why are these big boys? Jonathan Taylor, the big boys of the running back position in fantasy football. TreVeyon Henderson was taken up there. And he has gotten to the point, Josh, this year where for me, because I got some teams that are kind of loaded at back, right? And so I've had some optionality there. And I've literally faded TreVeyon Henderson, a top 5 pick, right? In games because of the Mayan Williams thing. And so Mayan Williams does not have a line here on DraftKings. It's 87.5 for TreVeyon Henderson. So is TreVeyon Henderson free and unleashed this week, or is he still going to get siphoned by Mayan Williams? And so talk to me about that.
Yeah. So, I looked this up, rather extensively this week. And so, one thing about that game is that it's going to be like at least 25-mile-an-hour winds, if not 40-mile-an-hour winds going across the field. And so, there's going to be no passing in this game. So I think whether Mayan plays or not, which he is going to play, but whether he plays or not is irrelevant. I think they're going to get these guys 40 to 50 touches between the two of them. So I think there's plenty of touches for both of them to go around, and I think TreVeyon is going to have a huge game on the ground, through the air, whatever. But I definitely think he'll hit 87.5. I've been smashing the overs on TreVeyon Henderson wherever I can get them this week. So I really like TreVeyon.
Okay, I love it. I'm glad I hit on that nerve with you there. Let me see here. Let me ask you one more rushing prop here. Kendry Miller of TCU. He's at 99.5. It's a big number at home against Texas Tech. Obviously, TCU is rolling. Help me out, Josh. Still undefeated? I believe they're still undefeated.
Still undefeated.
Still have a bagel in that loss column. So Kendry Miller has been a big part of me getting healthy. I started this league. I was telling you about 0-3, giving up for dead. Guess what? You did not kill Dracula. Josh, they did not kill Dracula. Dracula was bleeding out. The sun was coming out in the morning, and he was about to melt, right? Dracula made it back to the cave. 0-3 start. Josh, I'm now 5-4. I'm in the top 4, so I'm tracking towards making the playoffs. I've got the second most points in the league, okay? So, and this is the league I'm going for the 3-peat. So they thought they had me, and now you don't have me. And Kendry Miller's been a huge part of my resurgence, man. So talk to me about getting 99.5 is his number. Where's the goodie count here with Kendry Miller this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good number by DraftKings. I do. So it's kind of funny. Your team mirrors Kendry Miller, right? I mean, essentially, when the SMU game when he took over, I think that was actually maybe week 4 or week 5 when he took over in that backfield where they just started feeding him versus that running back by committee they did the first 3 weeks, which is just mind-numbing. But it's always in the back of my head, unfortunately. And so I think the one thing, I mean, I think it was this last week that they had like 14 touches. I mean, he still got numbers, but they kind of limited his touches a little bit this last week against West Virginia. But, man, if he gets 20 touches, he's getting 100 yards against this Texas Tech defense. And so I absolutely think they're going to ride him again. And I think he gets over 99.5. I think that's a good number. He's not a guy, right? We know this. He doesn't get his production a lot through the air. Most of it's on the ground. And he's explosive. And this is a guy, I mean, we talk about Zach Evans a lot, right? And how high of a draft pick he's going to be next year and all that stuff. Well, Kendry Miller essentially matched his production at TCU while Zach Evans was there. I mean, yards per carry were the same. Him and Zach Evans are the only running backs really in the Power 5 that have averaged over 7 yards a carry, during their freshman and sophomore years. So this is a guy that's extremely explosive. He's a big guy at 215, so he can take the load. So I think he does it at 99.5. I think he goes over. But that's a good line, man. Good job,
Josh, I've enjoyed the hell out of this, man. I definitely want to do it again. Tell everybody, Josh Chevalier of CFF Guys, tell them where to watch you, where to listen to you, and where to read your work, man.
Yeah, so I'm over at fantasypoints.com. We just actually did a college football subscription this year. So we do everything, man. We do CFF rankings. We do injury updates on Saturday mornings. We do, prize picks, bet, DraftKings, all of it. So, and then we do some against the spread type stuff as well. So we're kind of an all-in-one, one-size-fits-all approach to this thing. That's what we mainly do. And then we'll have a betting guide for all the bowl games. We'll write up a bunch of stuff on props and things like that. So that's what we got going on.
Josh, you the man. Have fun with your son at jiu-jitsu. Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Are you watching Oregon State and Washington a little bit later on here tonight?
Oh, man. I mean, I'm with you. Dynasty's my thing. Damian Martinez, I've been waiting for him to break out. And so, man, popcorn tonight at 9:30 my time. I'm in Texas. So 9:30, I'll be pulling up the game and watching the whole thing. So it'll be fun.
Me too, man. Decent Friday night game for once. The Friday night games have been really, really terrible this year. But Josh, you the man. We'll be in touch, man. We'll have you on again real soon, okay?
Hey, love it. Thanks, man. Thanks, Rick.
My guy right there, Josh Chevalier, on with Rick Camley here on Bettor Sports Live. That was fun, man. That was fun. We'll definitely have him back. Y'all feeling Josh out there? I think you should be all feeling Josh out there. Dave Poland has a fun note here. He says, Rick said on NBA radio that this Lakers team is likable. Hopefully the Jazz enjoyed the LA nightlife. I just bet 1,000 on the Lakers money line, minus 175. LeBron James, long live the king. Dave, you are a what's the word? You're a swashbuckling gambler, man. I love it. I really do. I think it's fantastic. I do like the Lakers tonight, Dave. I do. And, it's a money line thing. We don't have to sweat the point spread. The Lakers are 2-1 with Russell Westbrook coming off the bench. The whole vibe has changed with the team. It's gone from awkward and stuck and weird and bizarre and funky to a love fest. It's a love fest right now with the Los Angeles Lakers and a brewing one. So I like the Lakers today. And Utah, a nice team. They got a lot of good players and all this kind of stuff. 6-3, like they're so due for a correction. They're so due for like the 5-game losing streak, right? They lost the other night at Dallas, close game, 103-100. And I'm not saying that LA's going to blow them out tonight, but Dave, that's the side I'd be on for sure. And with the dollar amount you're putting on that, good luck to you, my friend. Okay, so let me wrap up here. Ricky props on the NFL. Again, we've got Justin Fields over 169.5 at home against Miami. We've got Taylor Heineke over 231.5 versus Minnesota. That's passing yards. Aaron Rodgers under 263.5 passing yards at Detroit. Rodgers over 1.5 touchdowns, minus 220 at Detroit. Khalil Herbert over 37.5 rushing yards at home against Miami. Kenneth Walker over 73.5 rushing yards at Arizona. And then we pick up with Stephon Diggs here at 79.5 yards at the New York Jets. Going over this number, it's a minus 115 to the over. And Stephon Diggs has been over this number. No, stop it. He's been over 100 yards in 5 of 7 games this year. I don't know this off the top of my head, but he probably leads the NFL in 100-yard receiving games. I haven't seen anybody else with 5. I believe he leads the league in that category. But nevertheless, not only is he over 79.5, he's over 100 in 5 of 7 games. Okay, so he's over this number in 5 of 7, 3 straight over 100 yards. He's absolutely rolling. We're not getting really much of anything from McKenzie. We're not getting much of anything from Gabriel Davis. We're getting 25, 30 yards from Dawson Knox. He has to put up massive stat lines, and he is. And Josh Allen loves throwing to him. So can the Jets keep him below this number of 79.5? Perhaps, but I don't see it. The Jets are 10th against the pass. Saleh's got them playing defense, man. They're allowing 203 passing yards per game. That is not a good indicator for us going over with Diggs at 79.5. Now, 203, we can safely fit 80 yards from Diggs within 203. So I do like that. But Diggs' career against the Jets, he's at 82 receiving yards over a 5-game sample size. And really, it's just the contextualization of this Bills team. Josh Allen does not have, frankly, another option that's even close as reliable as Stephon Diggs. It's Stephon Diggs doing his thing, and then like a blend-in committee of everybody else. And yes, Gabriel Davis has absolutely killed me in fantasy football this year. I mean, I'm still alive. Like I said, what are we? I got a ton of 4-4s right now. Heading into week 9, I got a bunch of 4-4s. Got a 7-1. I got 2 7-1s. I'm kind of, and I've got one team that just sucks. I think I'm 2-6, and it's just, I can't get it going. I just can't get it going. I've only got one team that's just like getting shredded and sucks and is out of it. All of the other ones are still alive. I got like, I don't know, 13 or 14 teams. But in most leagues hovering right around 4-4, or literally right at 4-4. Because last week, remember, I went 8-0 in all my Yahoo leagues. No, that was 2 weeks ago. And then last week, I gave a lot back to the house. I think I was 3-5 in my 8 Yahoo leagues, right? So it's like up and down and up and down and up and down. It's kind of annoying. Darnell Mooney, 41.5 receiving yards. We're going over this number at a -125 to the over. He and Fields are vibing together, folks. If you watch these games, you know this. He's gone 5. Check this out. Darnell Mooney has been over this number, 41.5, in 5 straight weeks. The flow, 94, 52, 68, 53, 70. We're consistently going way over this number, 41.5. I think Vegas is overreacting to Chase Claypool coming in there. I think that's what's going on here. Miami's pass defense sucks. They give up 262 yards per game through the air. He's at home, young fella, going to be more comfortable with the young fella quarterback. I like the home environment for this one too. And then I got one more for you. Terry McLaurin, 66.5 receiving yards. We're going over this number. Heavy action to the over at a -140. In 2 games with Heineke, and this is the sample size that matters, not the Wentz games, but the Heineke games. In both games with Taylor Heineke, McLaurin has soared over this number. He was at 73 and then 113 in the 2 weeks with Taylor Heineke. Over this number comfortably both times. McLaurin has been making huge plays for over a month now. He's been over this number in 5 of the last 7, going back to the Wentz administration. McLaurin is averaging 69 yards per game this year. We've got a lot of over indicators here, and Minnesota's pass defense is terrible. And I believe the Commanders are going to beat the Vikings in upset fashion. I will take the 3.5 as we have discussed. Now, before I get out of here, let's check in on these prop bets for the NBA and see if we've got some winners or some losers. Cleveland crushed Detroit tonight. Really, really lame performance from Detroit. But Jaden Ivey with the win, 18 points, 13.5. Giddy up and go. We're off to a good start. Tyrese Maxey, let's check him out. Philadelphia and New York. New York won that game. I thought they would, 106-104. Jalen Brunson had 23. We've got another winner, folks. We've got another winner. At 16.5 was his number. Tyrese Maxey, his number was at 26.5. Well, he only had 31 points. I told you he was hitting 430 tonight, and he did. How about Tyrese Halliburton? We'll check one more here. I mean, so far we're 3 for 3 on our prop bets here in the NBA tonight. Halliburton, where are we at? 22 points. We're 4 for 4, folks. 30 seconds left. All right, I'm running out of time here. All right, let's check one more prop here, see if we can stay perfect. Jaylen Brown, 24.5. Jaylen Brown, where the hell are you? Where is this box score? Here it is. Boston up 109-103 on Chicago. And Jaylen Brown is at 16 points. Well, we got 3:30 to go in the fourth, and we ain't dead yet. But we're 4-0 so far. Big thanks to our guests, Josh Chevalier, Jeff Cadillac, and also Tom Casale, Tyler, and Anthony behind the glass. I'm Cam. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.